My name is Linau. After my mother died unexpectedly, my father and stepmother kicked me out of the house and forced me to marry a woman who was in a vegetative state, Susan. Now, my father's company is facing bankruptcy, but my stepmother came to ask me to help them. I think it's ridiculous. Now, my wife Susan has regained consciousness under my care. Chapter 87: The long-lost warmth and tranquility, Lin and Sue's views on each other. When I pushed open the door of the ward, Susan was lying quietly on the white bed. Her thoughts were floating like a kite, as if she had gotten used to talking to herself to relieve her loneliness. She had been extremely desperate in the past, but now, she seemed to have regained a glimmer of hope for life. Every day, she felt her body gradually recovering, as if the mysterious light had ignited new expectations in her heart. However, as her health improved day by day, her mood began to become complicated. She had never seriously considered how she would face Lin Tao if she really recovered. After all, their relationship was entirely built on her unconscious state. If she really woke up, would their relationship still be as harmonious as it is now, or would it change? I stood by her bed and whispered, "Susan, I'm back." I could feel her heartbeat quicken. Although she couldn't respond, I knew she was listening. I gently held her hand, and the familiar warmth came over me. I smiled and said, "It's strange. I was only away for an afternoon, but it felt like I was away for several days." At this time, the system prompt sounded in my mind, "Ding!" The host in Susan's palms touch. Reward 1 point/4 seconds. I was slightly stunned. The speed of point growth has actually increased? This made me realize that perhaps the relationship between us has begun to undergo some subtle changes. Looking at Susan's quiet face, I felt a little complicated. At first, I just used her as a tool to brush my score, but as time went on, I found that my feelings for her had gradually deepened. I began to worry, if she really woke up, what would our relationship become? Would she continue to be indifferent and heartless, or would she rely on me like she is now? Just as I was lost in thought, I suddenly felt a faint touch in my palm. I looked down and found that Susan's white and tender little hand was actually gesturing in my palm, and finally, she raised her middle finger to me. "You did it on purpose." I couldn't help laughing and gently pinched her cheek. Although she couldn't make a sound, I knew she was mumbling in her heart, "Why are you pinching my face?" From childhood to adulthood, except for Koexian, no one dared to pinch my face, especially boys. Although she couldn't speak, I could feel the peace and trust she had when she was by my side. This warmed my heart and strengthened my determination to protect her. Then, I began to tell her what happened today, especially Su Fan's wonderful performance of pretending to be a martial arts master. Seeing her fingers move slightly, I knew that she was also worried about us. Chapter 88: Susan, you're a fool. When I sat beside Susan's bed and told her about my experience in the afternoon in a deep voice, she seemed to listen attentively. But when I mentioned the conflict between us and Zhao Hu and his son, her mood suddenly became tense. I noticed her fingers trembling slightly, and that weak reaction made me realize her worry. Zhao Hu is powerful in the Magic City and has the support of the Han family. I understand that Susan's nervousness has a reason. She must be worried that we will be retaliated against because of this, and even think that I may have been injured. I paused and comforted her softly, "Susan, don't worry, we are all fine. In fact, we were able to escape unscathed this time, thanks to the clever strategy of Brother Sufan." I continued, telling the story of how we successfully escaped by pretending to be martial arts masters. Hearing this, Susan seemed relieved, but I also felt the fear in her heart. Her fingers moved slightly again, as if conveying something to me. I guessed what she was thinking, probably marveling at our audacity. After all, pretending to be a martial arts master is not something that anyone would dare to try, and we actually succeeded. This also made her deeply suspicious of Su Fan's acting skills, but at the same time, she couldn't believe that Zhao Hu would be so easily fooled. Just as my thoughts drifted away, I suddenly thought of Lin Hao and his son, and a sly smile appeared on the corner of my mouth. "Susan, if my estimate is correct, the side effects of the beautifying ointment developed by the Lin family will be exposed at the latest tomorrow or the day after tomorrow." I joked, "I'm really curious about how embarrassed Lin Jianjun and his son will be by then." Susan's fingers moved again, and my heart was moved by the slight movement. Was she feeling sorry for me? She must have been thinking that although I looked relaxed and happy, I might be suffering from the pain of breaking up with my family. She might have guessed the bitterness in my heart, but she was powerless to comfort me. However, just when I felt a sense of weakness, Susan S. fingers slowly and firmly moved in my palm. Although the movements were stiff and slow, she repeated them again and again. Finally, I understood what she meant. Those few simple words flowed into my heart like a warm current. I'm here. I'm with you. Don't be sad. Come on. At that moment, my heart seemed to be tightly grasped, and some indescribable emotions surged in my heart. I took a deep breath, suppressed the soreness in the corners of my eyes, gently pinched her pink cheeks, and whispered, "Silly. I know she must think I am pretending to be strong and that I am in great pain. She is speechless and can only accompany me in this clumsy way. But she is the one who needs comfort the most and should be worried about herself the most. You fool." I couldn't help but curse again. Hearing this, her fingers suddenly paused, as if she felt a little confused. She must have wondered if I had misunderstood her. Actually, she wasn't wrong. "Yes, Susan, you're worried about me, but I hope you can worry more about yourself." I smiled, gently stroked her hand, and silently said in my heart, "Don't worry, you are not alone. I will always be by your side." Chapter 89. When you want to cry, just stand upside down. Then the tears won't flow. At 10 o'clock in the evening, Susan finally used her weak strength to gesture the words "good night" on my palm. I looked at her hard work and couldn't help but smile with relief. My massage these days is really effective, and she can respond to me in a simple way. Compared with the companionship in the past when I was in the dark and fighting alone, the communication now makes me feel a little warm. "Good night, Susan," I said softly, left her room, and went back to the next door. After taking a shower, I lay comfortably on the big bed, ready to have a good sleep. At this moment, a system prompt suddenly sounded in my mind. Ding! Female supporting character Susan has entered the range of the Tai magnetic field. Reward 1./40 seconds. My eyes opened instantly, staring blankly at the wall of the room. It turned out that there was only a wall between Susan and me, and this wall was also within the range of the Tai magnetic field. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but laugh. Even when I was sleeping, my points would automatically increase. Although the effect was not as good as direct contact, it was still free money. I suddenly had an idea and asked, in the sticker system, if I get Susan's hair and wrap it around my finger, would it be considered indirect stickering? The system's answer stunned me. Yes, but the host needs to swallow it. I was completely speechless. The system even suggested that I swallow the hair, excrement, and even limbs of the person I was sticking to in order to achieve the so-called negative distance sticking. I was instantly confused by this outrageous operation and gave up these perverted ideas. Forget it. Let's go to sleep. I shook my head, closed my eyes depressedly, and tried to find a moment of peace in my dreams. 2 hours later, a dark figure quietly appeared in the alley opposite the Su family manor. It was Su Fan, who was standing under the dim streetlights, staring at his former home. Those familiar scenes brought back countless memories, and his eyes were slightly red. "I'm home," Su Fan whispered, his voice choking with sobs. No relatives greeted him, no welcome back, only the cold night and the quiet manor. Su Fan tried hard to control his emotions, but the bitterness in his chest became more and more violent. He remembered the first lesson his master taught him: men bleed but don't cry, and warriors are even more so. When you want to cry, stand upside down, and the tears won't flow. Su Fan stood upside down under the streetlight, forcibly suppressing the fluctuations in his heart. 3 minutes later, he stood up again, walked towards the manor, and his figure quickly disappeared into the night. In the Su family manor, Su Fan quickly avoided all security personnel and surveillance cameras like a ghost. He was familiar with every inch of the land here and quickly sneaked into the villa. Just as he was about to go up to the second floor, he heard footsteps on the stairs. He immediately dodged and hid in a small room. Through the crack in the door, he saw a plump and beautiful woman, Aunt Lu. Aunt Lu? Su Fan's eyes were complicated, and a wave of warmth and sadness surged in his heart. The woman who had taken care of him and his sister was still so dignified and elegant, but the years seemed to have begun to leave traces on her. At this moment, Aunt Lu seemed to have noticed something and suddenly looked in the direction where Su Fan was hiding. Chapter 90. Lin Tao's complaint. Brother-in-law, do you want to scare someone to death? Damn it. Su Fan's heart tightened, and he quickly retracted his gaze and quickly hid in the shadows. The footsteps were getting closer and closer, forcing him to sweat coldly. If he was discovered, he would definitely not be able to explain himself. After all, he didn't want to recognize his family yet. The room was small, and there was nowhere to hide. Su Fan became more and more nervous. However, there was always a way out, and suddenly there was a cat's cry. Meow. It turns out to be you, naughty little guy. Are you hungry? I'll get you something to eat. Luwan picked up the cat and turned to leave. Su Fan breathed a sigh of relief and waited for a moment to make sure there was no more movement. Then he quietly pushed the door open and quickly went upstairs. In the study room on the second floor of the villa, Su Shengtian put down the phone, took off his glasses, and sat on the sofa tiredly. Although his face was full of wrinkles, his eyes were still shining with excitement. I just got the news that people who used the beauty ointment began to experience side effects. Thanks to Xiao Tao, not only did he help the company overcome the difficulties, but he also gave the Su family a chance to turn things around. Su Shangtian murmured to himself, his inner fatigue unable to hide his excitement. However, he did not notice that a pair of complicated eyes were watching him from outside the window. Su Fan stood in the shadows, his heart aching. The white-haired old man in front of him was his grandfather, who used to be vigorous, but now he was so old under the pressure of life. Thinking of the hardships of his grandfather supporting the company alone in the past few years, Su Fan felt deeply guilty and painful. He wanted to meet his grandfather, but thinking of the changes that had happened in the past few years and the beauty pill his grandfather mentioned, Su Fan frowned. It seemed that his grandfather was planning to hand over the Su group to Lin Tao, but was that man really trustworthy? Su Fan turned and left, deciding to visit his unconscious little sister first. Her room was as warm as before, but she was sleeping like a sleeping beauty. Su Fan couldn't help but feel distressed. After not seeing her for 5 years, his little sister had become more beautiful, but her fate was so miserable. In order not to disturb her, Su Fan performed the pulse diagnosis technique and sensed that the blood and qi in the little sister's body were abnormally vigorous, and she did not look like a vegetable at all. Could it be that someone was secretly treating her? Su Fan had a question in his mind, but what puzzled him even more was who that person could be. At the same time, in the next room, I was fast asleep when the system suddenly sounded a reminder. Ding! Su Fan, the son of destiny, enters the range of the stick magnetic field and gains 10 seconds/1 point. I realized in a daze that my brother-in-law actually appeared in my stick magnetic field range. In an instant, all my sleepiness disappeared, and I sat up, staring at the wall that separated us. Did my brother-in-law really come to visit me quietly because he missed his family? But why did he approach my room? Did he notice something? I forced myself to calm down and pretend to be asleep, but I felt a sense of panic and curiosity in my heart. What on earth do you want to do, brother-in-law? If he really found out that I was pretending to sleep, I wonder if he would be scared. At this moment, I couldn't help but start to wonder, when Susan was lying in bed unable to move, was she also complaining about me in her heart? Chapter 91 System. I didn't expect it. You made me discover my blind spot. When I was complaining in my mind about why my brother-in-law Su Fan hadn't left yet, he suddenly seemed to realize something and his breathing became rapid. This guy, why is his breathing a little strange? Is he pretending to be asleep? Su Fan had this absurd thought in his mind, but he immediately denied it. How could it be possible? He is just an ordinary person. How could he be aware of my presence? Even if he really noticed it, he would have been so scared that he would have screamed for help. Why would he pretend to be asleep? Brother-in-law, are you too handsome to walk? I complained silently in my heart. He has been standing here for at least 15 minutes. I was so stiff that I didn't even dare to turn over, for fear that he would notice something. The room was dead silent. If it weren't for the system's sticky radar reminding me that Su Fan was still within 1 meter, I might have thought he had left. Driven by curiosity, I quietly opened my eyes a little to see what Su Fan was doing. Suddenly, I saw a pale face right in front of me, almost touching my face. Oh my God! What are you trying to do, brother-in-law? I almost collapsed. If brother-in-law gets any closer, I'll lose my first kiss. That's already been reserved by your sister. Don't mess around. Fortunately, although I was startled, I still tried to maintain the appearance of being asleep. Su Fan observed for a while, finally put aside his suspicion, and slowly disappeared into the darkness. Finally gone. I breathed a sigh of relief, but I was still a little scared. Su Fan was indeed elusive. No wonder he was able to succeed in all his assassination missions in the later period. His ability to appear and disappear without a trace was really hard to guard against. I waited until the radar showed that Su Fan's light spot had completely disappeared before I opened my eyes completely and moved my stiff body. My bones made a creaking sound. I stretched and finally fell asleep peacefully. The next morning, I woke up with dark circles under my eyes. It was all my fault because of my brother-in-law. I didn't get enough sleep last night. In order to wake myself up as soon as possible, I lay on the ground and started doing push-ups. Ding. Congratulations to the host for getting close to the earth, and you will be rewarded with 10 points/1. This sudden system notification made me stunned. I didn't expect that doing push-ups could earn points. Although the points were pitifully small, they were free after all. I did it with a hum-hum and decided to take advantage of the system. A minute later, I was so tired that I lay on the ground gasping for breath. Forget it, I was too tired, so I might as well give up. Lying flat on my back and clinging to the earth is not as comfortable as clinging to my wife. However, this made me discover a loophole in the system. As long as you find the right way, everything can be attached. I stood up and started doing push-ups against the wall. Ding. Congratulations to the host for sticking to the wall. Reward points 1 point/1 time. It was indeed true. I smiled triumphantly and tried to do push-ups in the air. However, the system did not respond. I thought about it, moved my waist, and started swinging in the air again. Ding. Congratulations to the host for developing a new way to stick. Air sticking, bonus points 0.1 points/1 time. I silently gave myself a thumbs up, but these methods are too tiring, so it's better to find someone more comfortable to post to. After washing up, I left the Su family manor and prepared to eat something as usual, and then buy a violet on the way back. In a steamed bun shop, I ordered soy milk and fried dough sticks, and listened to the idle chatter beside me. Suddenly, I heard a familiar voice. I looked up and saw a live news broadcast on the TV in the bun shop. In the broadcast, Lin Jianjun waved to the reporters in high spirits. The Lin family is going to take off. People around were talking about it. Their new product is so popular that everyone in my family has become a fan of the Lin family. Listening to these people's words, my smile became more and more weird. Chapter 92. Xiao Wu and Xiao Yan's Love Story. Scumbag Tang Chuan. Outside the gubbily steamed bun shop, after I had eaten and drunk my fill and paid the bill, I skillfully walked into a nearby alley, and after turning a few times, stopped in front of an inconspicuous flower shop. Madam, the same old rules, a bunch of violets. As soon as I finished speaking, a little girl came running out of the store with a click-clack-clack. Brother, you're here. My mother is cooking, and she asked me to give you the flowers. The girl was about 4 or 5 years old, and her delicate and pretty face made people want to pinch it. Run slower and don't fall. I took the violets she handed to me and said lovingly, Brother, do you still want to give the flowers to that vegetative sister? Yes. Wow, brother. You are so romantic. I want to be like that sister and marry a gentle man like you. Then you must eat well and grow up well. Yeah. Goodbye, brother. The little girl skipped back and I looked at her back. I couldn't help but imagine, if my brother-in-law knew that he had such a cute daughter, would he instantly change from a cold killer to a nanny? With this wicked smile, I turned and left, walking towards the Su family. 10 minutes later, I was sitting beside Susan's bed. The room was filled with the faint scent of violets, and I gently held her hand. Ding. The host and Susan, palm-to-palm touch. Reward 1 point/4 seconds. Listening to the system's prompt sound, I felt relieved. Sure enough, the best way to open the system is to touch my sister. Good morning, Susan, I said softly. Good morning, Lin Tao. In the darkness of her consciousness, Susan heard my voice, and her thoughts instantly focused, as if only at this moment could she truly feel the beginning of the day. What do you want to hear today? A story? A massage? Or singing? I asked tentatively, somewhat expecting her response. He's asking for my opinion? Susan was a little surprised. This was the first time she was asked about her opinion since she became a vegetable. For a moment, she felt a sense of happiness that she was respected. Ding. The host and Susan put their palms together and are awarded 1 point/3 seconds. I was stunned for a moment and muttered to myself, I didn't do anything. How come my favorability increased? It really is impossible to guess what a girl is thinking. Susan, did you hear what I said? I asked again. Susan came back to her senses, mobilized the senses of her fingers, and began to gesture in my palm. Although her finger movements were still stiff, I observed patiently and finally understood what she meant. Story da. Okay, I understand. Susan wants to hear a story. I smiled, feeling secretly happy. This was the first time that Susan took the initiative to respond to me since I took care of her. This was undoubtedly a huge improvement. A long time ago, there was a girl named Xiao Wu. She was engaged to Tang Chuan, the young master of the Tang family. I began to tell an inspirational story about a girl who rose from humiliation and eventually became the richest person in the world. Susan listened attentively, as if she were the heroine in the story. As I told her story, her emotions fluctuated, and her heart was filled with longing and hope for the future. What a strong girl. Xiao Wu is amazing. Susan silently admired in her heart, but she suddenly thought of a question. But, giving birth to 18 sons in 3 years? This is too exaggerated. D93 Zhang Lin Tao's posting scene exposed. The anger of Su Fan, a sister control. Under the thundering blow of Xiao Wu, the world's richest woman, the Tang family went bankrupt. Tang Chuan, the third young master of the Tang family, could not accept this cruel reality and eventually chose to hang himself. Since then, Xiao Wu has successfully washed away the shame of breaking off the engagement and has lived a happy life with Xiao Yin. As soon as I finished speaking, the room fell into a brief silence. Susan was obviously very satisfied with the story. Not bad. Xiao Wu angrily killed Tango and brought Xiao Yin back. This ending is so cool. What's wrong with Lin Tao's brain? He is good at singing and telling stories. I want to hear the next story. Her inner thoughts were almost exactly the same as I expected. It was indeed her first time to read a cool story, and she was so happy. I felt her little hand moving in my palm, and she smiled slightly. Nice to listen, right? Want to listen more? But now it's massage time. I'll tell you a new story next time. Oh, I'll give you a spoiler. The next story will be about a boy named Naruto, who challenged the Hokage Luffy to save his wife Sasuke, and eventually became a legendary god of death. I deliberately left my words unsaid, and then stopped. I couldn't help but smile when I saw Susan's fingers anxiously gesturing in my palm. Lin Tao, you bastard. Susan complained in her heart. Either you don't say it, or you finish it. Giving up halfway is really torture. Her reaction was exactly what I expected. After all, the skill of breaking up a passage has always been a love-hate thing. While Susan was getting restless, I had already started the massage without making any noise. I took off my shoes, got on the bed, and gently held her soft body in my arms. Her body fragrance mixed with the scent of violets intoxicated me a little, and I couldn't help but take a few deep breaths. Damn it! Susan's heart was already boiling with anger. Lin Tao, you big pervert, you actually did this to me. She was so embarrassed that she wanted to break free immediately, but she also knew that she couldn't move at all, so she could only protest silently in her heart. At this time, I was completely unaware and focused on the massage. As Susan's recovery speed gradually accelerated and her wedding date was approaching, Luan had completely accepted me and no longer stayed by her bed all the time. This made me more relaxed during the massage, and occasionally I would add some intimate little movements. Just as I was immersed in this warm moment, a knock on the door suddenly broke the silence. Mr. Lin, Miss Chun is here to visit. Lu Wan's voice came. Miss Chun? I was stunned for a moment until I heard a loud noise and realized that the person coming was Chen Kurson. As the door opened, a small figure rushed in quickly. Oni Ai-chan. How are you dressed? I was just about to say hello, but when I saw Chen Kurson's outfit, I almost burst out laughing. She was wearing a bright red jumpsuit. Her twin ponytails were tied into 2 symmetrical buns. She was holding a Chinkuan circle in her left hand, a fire spear in her right hand, and a red Hun Tian Ling hanging from her body. What you are cosplaying today is Neza, the devil boy? I couldn't help but complain. How is it? Isn't it handsome? Chen Kurson fiddled with her 3-piece weapon set, proudly, waiting for my praise with anticipation on her face. Hee hee. Handsome, very handsome, I said perfunctorily with a dry laugh. I knew this outfit would look great. Chen Kurson looked very proud, as if she had completely forgotten that I had just said it casually. At this moment, I suddenly felt a cold gaze falling directly on me. I turned my head and saw a young man about 27 years old standing at the door, staring at me with cold eyes. Hi, Brother Su Fan, long time no see. I greeted him with a dry laugh, but I secretly complained in my heart, how could I forget about this? Su Fan is Chen Kurson's personal bodyguard. Wherever she is, there is him. What's worse is that Su Fan is a sister-protecting maniac. Now that he sees me and his sister being so intimate, how can he not be furious? Sure enough, Su Fan's face became even gloomier, and his tone was cold. Even if you are chosen as the Su family's son-in-law, it is inappropriate to be so frivolous to a patient who can't move, right? I was speechless, and I felt bad. The good impression Su Fan had finally developed towards me had probably completely disappeared, and even turned into anger. Just as I was trying to explain, Chun Kursin had already stepped forward, holding a fire spear and pointing it at Su Fan's nose. Su Fan, what are you doing? Brother Lin Tao is treating Sister Susan. If it weren't for Brother Lin Tao's massage, how could Sister Susan recover so quickly? Listening to her explanation, I felt a little relieved, but soon became nervous again, because I knew Su Fan was a protective sister. Now that he saw this scene, he would definitely find a chance to settle the score with me. Chapter 94. Susan is disgust. Damn Su Fan, get out of here. In the Su family's courtyard, the young girl Chun Kursin stood in front of the boudoir door, blocking Su Fan's way. Remember, don't cross this door frame. Otherwise, I will punch you to death. She warned unceremoniously, then turned around and walked back to the room, leaving Su Fan stunned. Countless thoughts flashed through Su Fan's mind. My little sister actually regained consciousness? And the reason behind all this was Lin Tao's massage technique? Could this Lin Tao really be the expert he had guessed? His thoughts were confused, but in the end he decided to observe for a while longer and not jump to conclusions. So, Su Fan stood at the door like a door god, staring at Lin Tao in the room, not letting go of his every move. The overly direct gaze made Lin Tao feel a little uncomfortable. Ahem. Kursin, what are you doing? How can you kick Brother Su Fan out? Lin Tao pretended to be serious and tried to ease the embarrassment. However, Chun Kursin ignored him and continued to focus on her own business. Lin Tao had no choice but to give Su Fan an apologetic smile and continue with the massage. However, this time, Lin Tao became extra cautious, sitting upright and using proper techniques without any unnecessary contact. This gradually dissipated Su Fan's doubts, and he even began to reflect on his previous impoliteness. As a discerning person, Su Fan could naturally see the mystery hidden in Lin Tao's massage techniques. He was almost certain that this young man was the master he had guessed last night. At this moment, Su Fan felt ashamed. He realized how subjective and unfair his previous judgment was. Lin Tao was clearly doing his best to treat his younger sister, but when he saw him holding his younger sister, he despised himself, became jealous, and even wanted to kill her. On the other side, Lin Tao was still concentrating on massaging when suddenly a system prompt sounded in his mind. Ding! The favorability of Su Fan, the son of destiny, has increased. Ding! The range score of stick-to-stick magnetic field increases accordingly, and 1 point is awarded per second. Lin Tao was stunned. How could his brother-in-law Su Fan's favorability suddenly increase? And it went from 1./10 seconds to 1./1 second? He was clearly doing something brother is currently committing in front of him. It would be good if his favorability didn't decrease. How come it increased instead? Lin Tao was confused. Meanwhile, Susan on the bed was also muttering to herself. Lin Tao seemed to be very disciplined in his massage today, even keeping a distance on purpose. This made Susan feel a little disappointed. She couldn't help but wonder, did Lin Tao start to hate her? As Lin Tao continued to massage her, Susan's thoughts gradually calmed down. She comforted herself that maybe it was just because there was an outsider in the room that Lin Tao was so restrained. Just as everyone was thinking about their own things, Lin Tao finished the massage. He stood up and covered Susan with the quilt, gazing at her affectionately, all of which Su Fan saw. Su Fan's heart gradually loosened. He began to believe that Lin Tao might really have a sincere feeling for his younger sister. However, in this delicate atmosphere, Su Fan's thoughts were suddenly pulled back to 5 years ago. The mysterious woman who rescued him from the fire, the woman who accompanied him and encouraged him in his most desperate moment. But even to this day, Su Fan still doesn't know who she is. And that woman has become Su Fan's lifelong guilt, because during that painful and twisted period, he did something unforgivable to her. Chapter 95. Susan is speechless. Damn Su Fan, why don't you just go away? Su Fan's thoughts were drawn to the past, recalling the past that made him unbearable to look back. At this moment, Lin Tao turned around with a smile and waved at him. Brother Su Fan, don't stand at the door, come in and sit for a while. Su Fan felt a little awkward when he heard this. This was his own home, but he was invited in by an outsider. This feeling was really weird. But what made him even more helpless was that just as he was about to step over the threshold, he was poked out by the little lowly Chun Kursin with the fire spear in her hand. Lin Tao with a serious face, Oni Ai-chan, I'm going to tell you a secret. I found out that this guy is a pervert and has improper thoughts about Sister Susan. We must be 100% vigilant against him. Lin Tao almost couldn't help laughing out loud and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. This little loli has such a rich imagination, right? However, he also felt that the title of Aoni-chan was really not suitable for him. After all, this was the treatment of the future brother-in-law. He was just an inconspicuous villain. How could he steal the limelight from the protagonist? Compared to Lin Tao's secret smile, Su Fan was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. The one lying on the bed is my biological sister. How can you suspect that I have improper thoughts about her? I am not that kind of beast. However, thinking of his previous overreaction, he suddenly realized that in the eyes of outsiders, it might be a little inappropriate. Su Fan was speechless for a moment, not knowing how to explain, and could only choose to remain silent. Seeing this, Chen Kursin became more resolute in her judgment. This Su Fan is really a beast. He even spared no effort on a vegetative patient. She secretly made up her mind to cancel the engagement in a week. Lin Tao smiled and said, Kuexian, stop thinking about it. Brother Su Fan is a handsome man with integrity. How could he be the kind of person you said? His words made Su Fan feel grateful. This man has good vision. He can actually see the righteousness in my heart. After a moment of silence, Su Fan shook his head and said, Thank you, but I'll just stand outside. Also, I'm sorry for misunderstanding you before. Lin Tao couldn't help but take a breath and was shocked. The protagonist Su Fan actually apologized to me? You know, in the original plot, Su Fan always maintained an I am the only one attitude, never bowing to anyone. Except for his relatives and the mother and daughter of the heroine who chased his wife in the crematorium, Su Fan was almost cold to everyone. And now, this high and mighty protagonist actually apologized to him, and Lin Tao felt an indescribable sense of accomplishment. It's okay, brother Su Fan, you're too serious. I don't take what happened just now to heart. Lin Tao smiled and responded to Su Fan. He no longer forced the other party to come in. Su Fan nodded calmly, put his hands in his pockets, and stood quietly at the door. Only Chen Kursin was still staring at him angrily. Lin Tao suddenly picked up the golden guitar in the corner and said, Kuexian, stop staring. Yesterday I was inspired and wrote a love song for Susan. Let's record it. What? Oni-chan, you're going to sing? That's great. Chen Kursin jumped up excitedly, and while preparing the recording equipment, she chattered about Lin Tao's legendary status in the entertainment industry. Su Fan, who was standing at the door, was full of surprise. Through Chen Kursin's words, he realized that Lin Tao was actually the mysterious singer L, who was popular on the internet. Even though he usually didn't pay attention to the entertainment industry, Su Fan had heard a lot of the songs with beautiful melodies and profound lyrics that were played on the streets recently. Unexpectedly, the mysterious singer turned out to be Lin Tao. Lin Tao in the KTV last night. Su Fan felt a complicated feeling in his heart. So, this guy has been playing the pig to eat the tiger? He became more curious than ever about Lin Tao, wanting to know what kind of love song this top singer could create, especially since this song was specially written for his sister. However, Su Fan was still pessimistic, thinking that his younger sister would not like Lin Tao's love songs. After all, she had always sneered at love music since she was a child, thinking that it was just vulgar and hypocritical. Lin Tao's move was simply asking for trouble. At this time, Susan, who was lying on the hospital bed, was also muttering to herself, Lin Tao is going to sing a love song for me? Is he going to take this opportunity to confess his love and propose marriage? She felt that the atmosphere was a bit awkward, especially with outsiders present. Thinking of this, Susan's favorability towards her best friend's bodyguard plummeted again. How could this guy have no tact at all, and his emotional intelligence was so low that it was a headache? Chapter 96, I Want to Become the Angel You Love in the Fairy Tale. In the girl's boudoir, the air was filled with a tense atmosphere. Lin Tao gently plucked the strings of the guitar, and as the melodious guitar sounded, he began to sing affectionately. The ups and downs of the melody flowed into everyone's heart like running water, making people involuntarily intoxicated by it. I forgot how long it's been. I haven't heard from you. Tell me your favorite story. Every line of the lyrics seemed to be telling an unforgettable story. Su Fan's pupils shrank slightly, attracted by the moving melody. The melody of the song was melodious, and the lyrics were as beautiful as poems. He had to admit that Lin Tao's talent in music was indeed the best he had ever seen in his life. Su Fan thought to himself, could it be that this guy's feelings for my little sister were real? Lin Tao continued to sing, and his voice echoed in the room. You cried and told me. Fairy tales are all lies. I can't possibly be your prince. At this moment, Lin Tao's eyes were focused, like the starry night sky. Every word and every note of his lyrics were full of affection, like his sincere promise to Susan. Susan was still unconscious on the hospital bed, but her consciousness was throbbing in the darkness. This song is so romantic. Her heart was full of ups and downs, as if she was in this wonderful fairy tale world. Lintao, is he expressing his feelings to me with his singing? I want to become the angel in the fairy tale. The angel you love. Open my arms and turn them into wings to protect you. Lintao's singing became more and more affectionate. He seemed to be completely immersed in the world of the song, with tears in his eyes. After the song ended, he gently put down the guitar, held Susan's hand, and said softly, "Susan, does it sound good?" This song is called Fairy Tale. Susan was in the dark. Her heart was filled with excitement and joy. She wanted to respond, but she couldn't make a sound. She was so anxious that she shouted in her heart, "I like it very much." However, Lintao's eye broke her thoughts. "No response. It seems that you don't like this song." "No, I like it. I really like it." Susan was extremely anxious, and finally, she realized that she could still convey information through her fingers. She mobilized her remaining strength and clumsily wrote 4 words on Lin Tao's palm. "I like it very much." Lin Tao smiled. "I know, I was just teasing you. You must have forgotten that you can move." Hearing this, Susan felt ashamed and angry. "You are stupid." She swore in her heart that when she could move again, she would teach this guy who dared to tease her. At this moment, Susan suddenly felt a force, and her fingers moved. She was stunned, and Lin Tao also looked down at her hand in shock and found that her 5 fingers had tightly grasped his palm. "This, Susan can move?" Lin Tao was overjoyed, but then he felt a little scared. "This is good. Do I have to be on guard against her revenge in the future?" He couldn't help but feel a little headache. At the same time, at the gate of the Su family manor, Su Yin rushed in aggressively. Her face was full of anger, and she ignored the greetings of the security guards and maids and went straight to the villa. "Damn it! It must be that son-in-law's doing. My dad blocked my bank card." Su Yan's heart was filled with resentment. "I have already warned him, but he dared to fan the flames in front of my dad and wanted to take away our Su family's assets? Dream on." She had already imagined a fierce confrontation in her mind. She wanted to make the son-in-law understand that the Su family's things would never be handed over to outsiders. As her anger grew, Su Yin kicked open the door of the villa. Chapter 97. Lin Tao was speechless. Has this love-brained woman reached menopause? Lin Tao pretended to be in pain, covering his arm and shouting exaggeratedly, "Shoo, it hurts. Susan, you are too cruel. You almost pinched my flesh off." Susan was lying on the bed. When she heard this, her heart tightened, and she was full of confusion and panic. Did I use that much force? Is it because my senses haven't fully recovered and I can't control my strength well? What if I pinch Lin Tao and cause problems? She was panicked, afraid that she really hurt Lin Tao, and quickly let go of his hand. However, the next second, Lin Tao let out a smug smirk. Hee, you were fooled by me, and you still say you are not a fool." Susan was so angry that her heart was beating fast. This hateful man actually lied to me, and he called me a fool. She was so angry that her face was hot, and she was secretly angry. What her aunt said was right. A man's mouth is a lie. You can't believe a word he says. Seeing that Susan was really angry, Lin Tao immediately stopped smiling, but secretly felt lucky. This girl is really hard to mess with. She really dares to pinch me. He didn't dare to continue joking. After all, Susan's pinch just now really hurt. At this time, Su Fan, who was standing at the door, looked at Lin Tao holding his little sister's hand tightly and felt complicated. As a brother, he instinctively felt a little disgusted with this kind of intimate behavior, but he was also a little helpless. After all, girls can't be kept at home when they grow up. No matter how well-behaved and cute his sister is, she will still get married one day. Looking at my younger sister's reaction, at least she doesn't have much aversion to Lin Tao. Su Fan analyzed secretly in his heart, but if I'm not mistaken, she should be more grateful to Lin Tao than love. Su Fan knew his sister's character very well. Lin Tao's efforts did move her, but it was more likely because she longed for the hope of recovery in the pain of long-term bed rest. And Lin Tao's company and care naturally made her grateful. If Lin Tao can seize this opportunity, perhaps over time, his sister may really develop feelings for him. Thinking of this, Su Fan decided not to interfere. After all, Lin Tao gave his sister hope of waking up. In return, if she finally chooses Lin Tao, he will respect her choice. On the other side, Chun Kerson carefully put away the recording equipment and clapped her hands excitedly. Wow. It's so beautiful, Oni-chan. I can already imagine that after this song is released, it will occupy all the hot search charts and set off a new wave of popularity. I will edit and release it as soon as I get home. You have no idea that your fans have been going crazy these days. Lin Tao hurriedly stopped her. Wait. Don't post it yet. I have something else to add later. Wait until I notify you before posting it. Lin Tao puzzledly. Lin Tao smiled mysteriously. Guess? He had already made up his mind, intending to use L's popularity to give Lin Jianjun a fatal gift. However, before he and Chen Kerson could explain in detail, a sudden noise outside the door interrupted their conversation. Several people turned their heads to look outside. Su Fan was the first to notice the newcomer. He looked at the figure walking hurriedly around the corner of the stairs, and his face was dazed. After 5 years, Aunt Su Yin hasn't changed much. Seeing his relatives whom he hadn't seen for a long time, Su Fan felt a complex emotion in his heart and couldn't help but walk forward, wanting to see more clearly. However, when Su Yin walked up to him, she did not recognize the young man in front of her. Her brows were slightly furrowed, and her eyes were full of confusion. Who is this boy? He doesn't look like a family member. Su Yan's eyes stayed on him for a moment. Her heart was full of anger, and she didn't bother to care about his identity. Seeing Su Fan blocking the way, Su Yin angrily raised her hand and slapped him. Get out of the way. You're an eyesore, she said coldly, with disdain and anger in her voice. Su Fan covered his face, completely stunned. He never expected that the once gentle and virtuous aunt would become so irritable and angry. At the moment he was stunned, Su Yin had pushed him away and stormed into his little sister's room angrily. Who are you? Are you a demon? Chen Kerson saw Su Yin suddenly rush in, holding a toy fire spear, and shouted with a vigilant look. Are you here to challenge me, Neza, the third prince of Shintanguan? Come on. I'm ready. Su Yin frowned and looked at Chen Kerson, and finally recognized that the little girl dressed strangely was Chen Kerson. Psycho, she muttered impatiently, completely ignoring Chen Kerson, and quickly turned her eyes to Lin Tao in front of the bed. You little bastard. I warned you last time. Su Yin was furious, her voice a little out of control. How dare you stir up trouble in front of my dad and destroy the father-daughter relationship between us? Lin Tao was stunned. He had never expected Su Yin to be so angry. Why did this woman suddenly come here to make a scene? Could it be that she has reached menopause? He secretly complained in his heart, but on the surface he responded calmly. I don't understand what you are talking about. I have never mentioned you in front of Mr. Su. That would only waste my time. Also, please knock before entering next time. If you have nothing to do, please leave and don't disturb Susan's rest. Lin Tao's calm attitude not only failed to calm Su Yan's anger, but made her even angrier. She sneered. You want me to knock on the door? You want me to leave? Don't forget, I am a member of the Su family, and you are just an outsider. You are the one who should leave. First you tricked my dad into freezing my bank card, and now you want to kick me out of the house? Well, you think that if you kick me out, you can do whatever you want to my niece and occupy the Su family's property, right? I tell you, you can't succeed as long as I am here. Su Yin said, pointing to her eyes, indicating that she would always keep an eye on Lin Tao and would never let him succeed. At this moment, the commotion outside the door became louder and louder, as if a bigger storm was about to come. Chapter 98 Green Tea Boy vs. Love Brain. Grandpa Su, I was bullied. Seeing Su Yin maliciously distorting the truth, Chen Kersin could no longer hold back and stood up to defend Lin Tao. Although she recognized the woman in front of her as Susan's aunt and her tone slowed down, she still insisted on speaking fair words. Brother Lin Tao injected 3.5 billion to save the Su group when the Su family was in bankruptcy crisis. If he was really after money, how could he do such a thing? Aunt Susan, you must have misunderstood Brother Lin Tao. He really loves Sister Susan, even more than I love Sister Susan a little bit more. Su Yin became even more angry after hearing this. She turned around and glared at Lin Tao, sneering, What a hidden master! You can actually fool everyone. Do you think you are very proud of yourself? Lin Tao was confused by her words. Huh? What are you talking about? I don't know what you are talking about. Pretend. Still pretending. Su Yin became more and more angry. On the surface, you took out 3.5 billion to save the Su group, pretending that you were not interested in money, but in fact, you were secretly planning to take over the Su family's 10 billion assets. 3.5 billion for a 10 billion industry. What a good calculation. It's a pity that you can't fool me. Lin Tao could only smile bitterly. This woman's imagination was simply amazing. If she wrote a novel, she would definitely become a best-selling author. In the dark cage of consciousness, Susan heard her aunt's voice and felt complicated. How could her aunt become like this? She used to be so gentle and often taught me not to trust men easily, because men are all pigs. But since she met that old man, she has changed completely. Is this the so-called love brain? If I also fall in love with a man, will I become like her? Susan thought about it, the more scared she became. She didn't want to believe that her aunt would become so unreasonable, and she didn't want to believe that Lin Tao's deep affection was just a show. Lin Tao has been sincere to me during this period of time. Maybe there are some lies, but I can feel his kindness. However, Aunt Su Yan's current behavior made her extremely confused. Since she fell into a coma, she has recalled countless times the reasons that led to her becoming a vegetable. No matter how she speculates, Aunt Su Yan is the biggest suspect. If it is really you, Aunt Su Yan, why did you do this? How should I face you? If it was the old man who instigated it, then I only need to deal with the culprit and don't have to hurt you. While Susan was daydreaming, the situation outside became increasingly tense. Lin Tao felt exhausted by Su Yan's unreasonable nagging. As one of the few relatives of the protagonist, Su Yan has always been like a troublemaker in the early stage of the plot. For her so-called love, she did all kinds of incredible things, and even attacked the Su brothers and sisters cruelly. Lin Tao glanced at Su Fan, who was standing at the door with a frown, thinking that this matter was really difficult to handle. If Su Yan was not Susan's relative, he would have been rude long ago, but now he couldn't act rashly. Thinking of this, Lin Tao took out his cell phone and made a call directly. He didn't want to waste even a word on Su Yan now, and decided to leave this matter to the absolute nemesis of the early love brain. Lin Tao didn't reply. Su Yan sneered. What? You don't dare to reply? Are you feeling guilty after I exposed your evil ambitions? Lin Tao was too lazy to answer her. After the call was connected, he turned on the hands-free mode. Instantly, an old and deep voice came from the microphone. Xiao Tao, what's wrong? Is there anything you want to tell Grandpa? Su Yan's face suddenly changed. She immediately recognized who was on the other end of the phone and glared at Lin Tao angrily. This little bastard actually had no moral principles and called his parents directly? Lin Tao coughed twice, adjusted his mood, and turned on the Lin Hao mode. Grandpa Su, I was bullied? What? Who? Who on earth dares to bully my grandson-in-law, Su Xingtian? The voice on the other end of the phone suddenly rose 8 octaves, full of anger and worry, and kept urging Lin Tao to reveal the other party's identity so that he could vent his anger. It's not Aunt Su Yan. It's really not Aunt Su Yan. Lin Tao continued to pretend to defend himself. She just misunderstood my evil ambitions and said that I was only nice to Susan because I coveted the Su group's tens of billions of assets. Hey, I must have made Aunt Su angry in some way. Grandpa Su, you must not be angry with Aunt Su Yan. I don't want to affect the relationship between you and your daughter because of me. I will apologize to Aunt, as long as Aunt is willing to forgive me. As long as your family is well, I am willing to bear any grievances. Chapter 99. What do you want from an old man? Because he is old enough? Or because he doesn't take a bath? In a bright office at the headquarters of Su Group, Su Shangtian had a head full of silver hair and a sullen face. After listening to Lin Tao's crying on the phone, he gritted his teeth in anger and kneaded his temple with his right hand to relieve the rage in his heart. Su Yan, this rebellious girl. Su Shangtian's heart was boiling with anger. Su Shangtian felt extremely tired whenever he mentioned his love-brain daughter. When he first learned that Su Yan had found an older man, he clearly expressed his strong opposition, but Su Yan kept crying and making a scene every other day, even threatening to commit suicide. In desperation, Su Shangtian had to compromise temporarily and privately investigate Wang Defa. However, the results of the investigation shocked him. Wang Defa appeared to be a gentleman and humorous professor, but in reality he was a scum who was addicted to gambling and had a chaotic private life. He not only hooked up with many young female students, but also concealed his marital status. He was a complete hypocrite. Su Shangtian thought that putting the evidence in front of his daughter would make her realize her mistake, but Su Yan's reaction disappointed him. Dad, we are all human. Brother Wang has confessed to me that he will divorce his wife as soon as possible. I know his past, but I have forgiven him. I am not in love. I am clear-headed. I just like him and want to have children for him. This is the fate of every woman. Isn't the meaning of a woman to give birth to children for a man? Although Brother Wang sometimes treats me coldly and violently, he is trying to change. Apart from this, he is really good to me." After hearing these words, Su Shangtian felt dizzy and his eyes went dark. When he woke up, he was already in the hospital. The conflict between father and daughter became more and more serious and eventually became known to the whole city. This was also the reason why he later made up his mind to take back Su Yan's shares and sever the father-daughter relationship. Now, knowing that Su Yan had actually gone to Lin Tao to cause trouble while he was away, Su Shengtian was immediately furious and could not help but roar into the phone, "Su Yan, what do you want to do at Xiao Tao's place? Get out of the Su family right now. I told you, since you chose that old man, I will treat you as if I don't have a daughter." At the Su family, Lin Tao smiled and raised his hands-free phone in the direction of Su Yan. In fact, even if he didn't do this, Su Shangtian's full-bodied roar could be clearly heard by everyone. Su Fan stood at the door with a complicated look in his eyes. He didn't expect that when he returned again, the conflict between the two relatives had accumulated so deeply. 5 years ago, the Su family was full of harmony and warmth, and the family members worked together, but now everything has changed, which is heartbreaking. Su Yin instinctively shrank her neck when she heard her father's roar. She was afraid, but she still argued in a low voice, "Dad, listen to my explanation. This kid is pretending. He used 3.5 billion to deceive your trust. In fact, he has wolfish ambitions and is plotting against our entire Su family." Su Yin became more and more confident as she spoke, her voice getting louder and louder. She pointed at her own eyes and glared at Lin Tao fiercely, as if to say that she had seen through everything. However, Lin Tao shrugged indifferently, put his phone on the bedside, and held Susan's hand again. "Plotting against the Su family?" Su Shengtian's cold voice came from the other end of the line. "I originally planned to let Xiao Tao and his wife inherit the Su group. Does he still need to plot against it? Not only did I freeze your bank card, I also removed you from your position as the group's executive president and suspended all cooperation with Wang Defa's crappy company. From now on, the two of you will never be able to suck blood from the Su group again." "What?" Su Yan's face changed drastically, full of disbelief. Not only did her father want to kick her out of the company, but he also wanted to stop cooperating with Wang Defa's company. Wang Defa's new company was almost entirely dependent on orders from the Su group. Wouldn't this cessation of cooperation be equivalent to forcing him into bankruptcy? Su Yan was furious and shouted excitedly, "Dad, are you crazy? I am your biological daughter. Why do you treat me like this? You are so kind to Susan and this little bastard, but you are so cold and ruthless to me. Do you have the face to see my mother in your grave?" On the other side of the microphone, Su Shengtian sneered, "You still have the nerve to mention your mother? If she were here, she would definitely want to stuff you, a traitor, back into her stomach. I, Su Shengtian, have been wise all my life, so why did I give birth to a retard like you? For an old man, you can even ignore the interests of the family. I don't understand. What do you want from him? Is it because he is old enough, or because he doesn't take a bath?" Su Yin was so angry that she was shaking all over. She didn't expect her father to be so ruthless and humiliate her in public. She tried her best to defend herself. "Dad, you don't know what love is. Freedom is precious, but love is more precious. Brother Wang is good to me, and I love him. Isn't that enough?" Su Shangtian became more and more annoyed as he listened, and interrupted her angrily. "Shut up! Can you ignore the Su family for the sake of so-called love? When Susan was diagnosed as a vegetable, I gave you the position of CEO, thinking that you could run the company well. What happened? You turned around and registered a new company for that old man, using Su's resources to suck his blood for nothing. It was because of your stupidity that the company's medical equipment had problems. If Xiao Tao hadn't taken action, the Su group would have gone bankrupt because of you. You still have the nerve to say that Xiao Tao has wolfish ambitions? Do you deserve it?" The whole room was filled with Su Shengtian's roar, and Su Yin was completely stunned by the scolding. Lin Tao secretly gave the old man a thumbs up in his heart. His fighting power was really great, and he was worthy of being the nemesis of Love Brain. Su Yin still didn't think she was wrong, and continued to defend herself. "Dad, it was just an accident. As for Brother Wang's company, I have considered it. Our family is so rich, it doesn't matter if we lose a little. And Brother Wang is very talented, he just lacks an opportunity. I believe he will succeed in the future. Then wouldn't it be better for our two families to get married?" Su Shengtian was furious when he heard this. He could no longer endure it and shouted, "Get out of the Su family! You are no longer my daughter. I will contact Luwan right away and ask her to kick you out. Are you crazy? Before he finished speaking, a busy tone came from the other end of the phone. Su Shangtian had hung up the phone in anger. Lin Tao didn't even have time to say hello, because he knew that Su Shangtian was so angry at the moment that he might have a cerebral hemorrhage at any minute. Chapter 100. The Flame Dragon Armor, Combined. The ultimate move, the demon sealing palm. Su Yin hung up the phone angrily, her face gloomy. She couldn't understand why her father, Su Shangtian, who always loved her, suddenly decided to sever the father-daughter relationship with her today. Although he had opposed her and Brother Wang being together before, he had never been so resolute. What happened today? Just when she was puzzled, her eyes fell on Lin Tao's leisurely face. She suddenly realized and became furious. It's you. You must be the one who caused the discord. Su Yin roared uncontrollably, pointing at Lin Tao, almost mad. Since you came to the Su family, my dad has become more and more neurotic. Now get out. You outsider. Lin Tao just frowned slightly and ignored her crazy words. Just as Su Yin rushed over and raised her hand to attack, Lin Tao's mind moved and he secretly decided not to hide his true identity anymore. Bidu Flame Dragon Armor, Combine. However, before Lin Tao could make a move, a figure suddenly blocked him. It was Su Fan. He stood firmly and blocked Su Yan's attack for Lin Tao. Su Yan's slap landed on Su Fan's face, but it had no effect at all, only making her feel a stinging pain in her palm. Su Fan advised seriously, Aunt, why did you quarrel with your father like this for a man? Family is always more important than love. But Su Yin didn't listen at all, just thought that the young man was in the way, and continued to swing her hand angrily to hit Su Fan in the face. However, Su Fan was not moved at all. He was a martial arts master, with internal energy to protect his body. Su Yan's attack was like an ant trying to shake a tree. Seeing Su Yin was so angry, Lin Tao just watched helplessly from the side, and did not intend to intervene. Instead, he sat down again, took the girl's hand, and gently helped her bangs that were messed up by the wind. Just as Su Yin was furious and ready to continue, there was a rush of footsteps outside the door. The housekeeper Lu Wan came in with a dozen bodyguards. Miss Su Yin, the chairman called and asked you to leave the Su family immediately, otherwise the security guards will have to escort you away. When Su Yin heard this, she immediately shouted hysterically, How dare you? You are just a dog of my Su family. How dare you talk to me like this? Her howling did not arouse any sympathy, but made the bodyguards look even more indifferent. Seeing that the situation was irreversible, Lu Wan signaled the bodyguards to take action. Several people stepped forward, lifted up the still shouting Su Yin, and forcibly took her out of the room. Her curses gradually faded away and finally disappeared into the night. Lu Wan walked up to Lin Tao and whispered, Mr. Lin, the chairman has ordered that Miss Su Yin will not set foot in the Su family again. With Lu Wan's departure, the farce finally ended and the Su family regained a moment of peace. Chapter 101. The hunting plan against the Lin group is officially launched. Susan lay quietly on the white hospital bed. Although she could not speak or open her eyes, her thoughts were exceptionally clear. She listened to her aunt Su Yan's curses fading away in the distance, feeling powerless and painful. As an independent woman, she felt deeply helpless about her aunt's love-brained state. What's wrong with my aunt? How did her values become so distorted? Doesn't she know about my grandfather's health? Susan sighed silently in her heart. She never agreed with the view that women must rely on men, and she was determined to become a new-age woman who shines on her own. Although she was willing to understand her family's feelings, Su Yan's morbid persistence made her unacceptable. Just as she was lost in thought, Lin Tao's gentle voice came, Susan, are you worried about your aunt? Susan gently stroked Lin Tao's palm with her fingers and made a sound. Don't worry, I believe she will wake up one day. Lin Tao comforted her softly. Although he knew that Su Yan's love brain might not end well, he still chose to comfort her gently instead of attacking her directly. Susan felt mixed emotions. Although she didn't quite believe it, Lin Tao's concern still made her feel a little warm. No matter what, I will always be by your side, Lin Tao continued. You are as important to me as my family. Susan was in a state of confusion when she heard this. As a vegetative patient, she could not respond at this moment and could only silently feel the turmoil in her heart. She was not good at dealing with kindness from the opposite sex, especially direct care like Lin Tao. But now, being a vegetative patient seemed to be her safe haven to deal with this emotion. He actually treats me as a family member? Susan couldn't help but blush, with a hint of shyness and sweetness in her heart. Lin Tao noticed her mood change, his mouth corners slightly raised, and a hint of mischief flashed in his eyes. He gently held Susan's hand and was about to start teasing her, but he heard footsteps outside the room gradually fading away. It was Su Fan and Chen Kurson who left. Lin Tao finally breathed a sigh of relief and felt much more relaxed. When his brother-in-law was around, he always felt under great pressure and couldn't let go of himself. Now he can finally accompany Susan properly. He moved to the bedside, gently hugged Susan, and smiled softly. Okay, Susan, let's continue rehabilitation. At this moment, there was only a warm atmosphere surrounding them in the room, and Susan quietly accepted this peace and tenderness in her heart. At the same time, in the chairman's office of the Su Group, Su Shengtian received Lu Wan's report and finally breathed a sigh of relief. Although he felt a little sorry for Su Yan, he knew very well that Su Yan's current state was not suitable for her to stay in the family. Otherwise, not only would the family fall into endless struggles, but it might even destroy the Su Group. Hu Zhang, you said that the victims have begun to doubt the products of Ling Group? Su Shangtian narrowed his eyes and tapped the table, appearing to be in deep thought. Yes, Chairman. But these people are not organized yet, and their number is not large, Hu Jingwei reported. Su Shangtian showed a meaningful smile. Unorganized and undisciplined? Then don't they just need a leader? I am never stingy in helping others. Hu Zhang immediately understood Su Shangtian's intention and secretly praised him for his shrewdness. He immediately stood up and left, ready to intervene in the storm that was about to start. Meanwhile, Lin Jianjun returned home happily, but was surprised at the door. Two faces covered with rashes suddenly appeared in front of him, and he was so scared that he shouted, "Fuck! There's a ghost in broad daylight." Chapter 102. The precursor to the Lin family's demise, Lin Jianjun's stubbornness. In the evening, Lin Jianjun had just returned to the staff dormitory when suddenly two monsters rushed out of the room. He was so scared that he swore and almost kicked them. Wait, honey, it's me. Daddy, don't you recognize me? The two familiar voices froze Lin Jianjun in his tracks. He looked closely and saw that it was his wife Bai Yuelon and his son Lin Hao, but their faces were covered with dense red rashes, which looked extremely scary. What's wrong with your faces? Lin Jianjun was so scared that his scalp went numb. Suffering from trypophobia, he didn't dare to look directly at them and quickly turned his head away. Lin Hao cried, "Daddy, we didn't know either. We just woke up this morning and found that our face had become like this. What should we do?" Lin Hao subconsciously wanted to throw himself into Lin Jianjun's arms for comfort, but Lin Jianjun instinctively avoided him. Lin Hao was stunned and couldn't believe that his father, who always loved him, would avoid him. "Daddy, don't you love Xiaohao anymore?" Lin Jianjun coughed awkwardly. "It's not that I don't love you. It's just that you've grown up, so hugging and cuddling isn't appropriate." He wanted to change the subject, pointed at their faces and asked, "What's wrong with your faces? Did you eat something unclean that caused you to be allergic?" Lin Hao said helplessly, "I don't know either. My face has been itchy recently. I woke up this morning and found myself like this." Bai Yuelon was also terrified, with tears in her eyes. "Husband, are we disfigured? What should we do?" She approached Lin Jianjun, but found a trace of disgust in his eyes, and her heart suddenly felt cold. Sure enough, men are creatures who look at appearance. Lin Jianjun was indeed feeling very uncomfortable. Looking at the state of his wife and son, he could only pretend to be calm and comfort them. "It's okay. It's probably an allergy. I'll take you to the hospital tomorrow. By the way, have you tried our beauty ointment? It's our own product, so you can rest assured." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Hao and Bai Yuelon looked at each other, seeming to want to talk but stopping themselves. "What's wrong?" Lin Jianjun noticed their strangeness and asked with a frown. "Actually, Xiaohao and I suspect the reason we became like this might be related to the beauty ointment. We used that product, and a rash appeared on our faces the next day." Bai Yuelon lowered her voice, noticing that Lin Jianjun's complexion was getting worse. "You mean, this is all the fault of the beauty cream?" Lin Jianjun was instantly furious. "Impossible. I have full confidence in this product. There will be absolutely no problems." Lin Hao quickly comforted him. "Daddy, Mommy didn't mean that. It might be a coincidence. We'll know after we go to the hospital for a checkup tomorrow." Lin Jianjun was still angry. He waved his hand and walked into the room. "Forget it. I'm tired today. Let's talk about it tomorrow." As the door slammed shut, only the stunned mother and son were left in the living room. Bai Yuelon stamped her feet and angrily yelled, "What are you crazy about?" Lin Hao comforted her. "Mommy, Daddy is just too concerned. Let's go to the hospital tomorrow to check it out first. On the other side, Lin Jianjun just lay down when he received a call from the company. Chairman, there is a group of people outside the company holding up banners, saying that our products have ruined their faces. Lin Jianjun's heart tightened. Thinking of Bai Yuelon and Lin Hao's faces, he asked coldly, "What happened to them? What are the specific symptoms?" The person on the other end of the line answered, "They said their faces were itchy and unbearable." Lin Jianjun breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. Itching? That's definitely not a problem with our products. They are all sent by some competitors to cause trouble. Don't worry about it. Let the security guards drive them away. After hanging up the phone, Lin Jianjun felt that his guess should be correct and lay down confidently. Chapter 103. The Awakening of the Flame Dragon Armor? A Remote Palm Strike? 4,500 words long chapter. In the early hours of the morning, Lin Tao struggled to wake up from his sleep and rubbed his eyes. He lay down for a while, then stood up and did a few push-ups to wake himself up completely. After washing up, he passed by Susan's room and glimpsed the sunlight shining on her body through the crack in the door. It was like a golden halo covering her, as beautiful and quiet as an angel. Lin Tao took a look and his mood suddenly improved. He couldn't help but praise in his heart, "My wife is so beautiful." But he didn't disturb her. He turned and went downstairs, ready to buy a bunch of violets as usual and enjoy a leisurely breakfast. Susan was still unable to move on the bed. She had already noticed Lin Tao getting up and thought silently in her heart, "This guy left quietly again. Won't he come in to say hello to me?" After leaving home, Lin Tao went to the steamed bun shop next to the hospital and sat in front of the stall, holding soy milk and fried dough sticks in his hands, listening to several uncles talking about beautifying ointment. One uncle excitedly shared the magical effect after his wife used it, while another uncle was frowning, claiming that his wife's face was almost ruined after using the ointment, and he was so scared that he couldn't sleep at night. Hearing this, Lin Tao's eyebrows slightly raised, and he felt that things were going in the direction he expected. Just as he was about to continue observing, several patients wearing masks hurried into the hospital not far away, with anxious looks on their faces. It seems that the side effects of the ointment have finally shown up. Lin Tao sneered in his heart, drank the last sip of soy milk, and decided to go to the hospital to understand the current situation in person and prepare for the next action. In the hospital reception room, the famous Dr. Deng was diagnosing Lin Jianjun's family. Lin Jianjun was worried and eagerly asked Deng to check the face of his wife and son. After taking off the mask, the nurses were shocked to see the face covered with rashes. After a careful examination, Deng confirmed that it was a skin reaction caused by external stimuli and reminded Lin Jianjun that many patients had similar problems recently due to the use of a beauty product. Hearing this, Lin Jianjun's face changed and he retorted strongly, "Impossible. My son and wife's facial problems are definitely not caused by my company's products." He refused to admit any problem and left the clinic angrily. In the corridor, Lin Hao and Bai Yuelon looked uneasy. They had already realized the seriousness of the problem, but Lin Jianjun remained stubborn and refused to face reality. At this moment, Lin Hao happened to meet Lin Tao. The two looked at each other, and a hint of conspiracy flashed in Lin Hao's eyes. He suddenly moved closer to Lin Tao, pretending to hug him, and Lin Tao subconsciously raised his hand to block him. Unexpectedly, Lin Hao fell to the ground and rolled over, screaming in pain, as if he had been hit hard by Lin Tao. Lin Tao was stunned and kept wondering in his heart, "Did I awaken some special skills? Hit people from a distance?" However, he soon realized that Lin Hao was acting. Sure enough, the next second, Lin Jianjun's angry roar came from behind. "Lin Tao, you rebellious son, you actually killed your brother." Chapter 104. Lin Jianjun's Fury. Rebellious son. Magic City Hospital. "Stop, you beast." Lin Jianjun's roar was like thunder, and the whole corridor fell silent. When Lin Tao heard this familiar voice, he sneered in his heart and slowly turned his head. Sure enough, he saw Lin Jianjun, who was full of anger, rushing towards him, followed by Bai Yuelon, who was wearing a mask and carrying a brand-name bag. "Xiao Hao, how are you? Are you okay?" Lin Jianjun and Bai Yuelon helped Lin Hao, who was lying on the ground, up from the left and right, with anxious faces, as if he had just experienced a life-and-death catastrophe. Lin Hao covered his chest and said in pain, "Daddy, Mommy, why are you here? We were worried about you, so we came to look for you. Fortunately, we made it in time. Otherwise, we don't know how this beast would treat us." Lin Jianjun was furious. He turned around and glared at Lin Tao, gritting his teeth and shouting, Lin Tao, you rebellious son. You actually did this to your own brother. Kneel down and apologize to Xiao Hao immediately. Bai Yuelan cried with tears in her eyes. Xiao Tao, Hao is your biological brother. How could you treat him like this? I know you are resentful of me and think that I destroyed your mother's marriage. But Xiao Hao is innocent. He is still a child. Why did you do that to him? Wu. Lin Jianjun comforted his wife distressedly, and the anger in his heart burned more and more fiercely, as if it was about to burn Lin Tao to death. The three of them leaned on each other, performing a loving and touching family drama. Lin Tao watched coldly. A playful smile appeared on his face, and he slowly clapped his hands. What a great show! Mr. Lin, I really think you and your family can consider changing your career to become actors. With your acting skills, you are more than capable of beating those young actors, and you may even make more money than starting your own company. Lin Jianjun was so angry that he was shaking all over. He clenched his fists and wanted to rush up and tear Lin Tao to pieces. He gritted his teeth and said, "You rebellious son. You dare to curse the Lin family to go bankrupt? Don't dream. The Lin Group has recently launched a new product. We are thriving, and it won't be long before we can be promoted to a first-tier family. I, Lin Jianjun, will one day stand at the top of the Magic City, and you, Lin Tao, can only look up at my back in regret." Lin Tao smiled coldly and replied disdainfully, "Okay, I'll wait for the day when you reach the top." After saying that, Lin Tao turned around and prepared to leave, not wanting to waste any more time with this drama queen family. However, Lin Jianjun was not going to let him leave easily. "Stop. You haven't apologized to Hao yet. Where do you want to run?" Lin Jianjun roared. Lin Tao frowned, turned around and warned coldly, "We have severed our relationship a long time ago. You'd better stop pestering me. Don't forget, I don't owe you anything." Lin Jianjun's forehead was bulging with veins, and he wished he could step on Lin Tao under his feet. "You rebellious son, your existence is a shame to the Lin family. Compared to Xiao Hao, you are nothing." Lin Hao pretended to be in pain and walked forward, pretending to be magnanimous and said, "Brother, don't be like this. We are a family. I know you have a problem with me, but I am really willing to return the inheritance rights of the Lin family to you, as long as you come home." Lin Tao sneered and watched Lin Hao's performance, too lazy to say anything more. Suddenly, Lin Hao accidentally blurted out, "Brother, do you still remember that you threatened me to leave the Lin family before?" This sentence instantly ignited Lin Jianjun's anger. He turned his head suddenly, his eyes were bloodshot, and his voice was full of murderous intent. "Lin Tao, how dare you threaten my son?" Lin Tao watched all this helplessly, with only one thought in his mind. These people are really crazy. Chapter 105 Susan. From now on, I will be the older sister and you will be the younger brother. We are a family. Lin Tao looked at Lin Jianjun's stupid face, feeling helpless. He was no longer interested in getting entangled with these three people. Anyway, the day when the Lin group fell, they would naturally pay the price for their actions. Lin Tao knew very well that it was difficult to go from extravagance to frugality. When Lin Jianjun's family lost everything, this once happy family would quickly fall apart. "Rebellious son, you actually threatened Xiao Hao. It seems that you won't understand unless I teach you a lesson." Lin Jianjun gritted his teeth, untied his belt, and prepared to perform a "father's love is as high as a mountain" drama. However, when Lin Tao saw this, he was not panicked at all. Instead, he made a trumpet shape with his hands and shouted to the surroundings, "Everyone come and see. Lin Jianjun, the chairman of Lin Group, is here. The fake beauty products he sold ruined our faces. Everyone come and seek justice." This shout immediately attracted the attention of the people around him, especially those patients who had skin problems due to using Lin's Group's beauty ointment. They were already full of anger and doubt about their own conditions. Now when they heard Lin Tao's shout, their anger instantly erupted. "Lin Yanyun, give us an explanation. My face is ruined after using your ointment." A man wearing a mask rushed up and asked angrily, "I spent most of half a month's salary on the ointment, but my face ended up like this. How are you going to compensate me?" More people gathered around, and the voices of condemnation were endless. Facing the growing number of angry people, Lin Jianjun was completely panicked. He buckled his belt silently, sweat broke out on his forehead, and he hated Lin Tao in his heart, but the situation before him made him unable to fight back. At the same time, Lin Tao had already left the hospital humming a little tune. Guided by his memory, he turned into several alleys and finally came to a hidden flower shop. "Brother, you are here to buy flowers again. A little girl in a cute little skirt ran out skipping, holding a bunch of violets in her hands. Thank you, Xiao Xiao is so good. Lin Tao took the flowers with a smile, paid for them, and reminded her. Remember to give the money to mom? He looked into the store and saw a tall woman standing inside. Although she was wearing a mask and her face could not be seen clearly, she nodded gently to Lin Tao. Obviously, she had some impression of this young man who patronized the store every day. 10 minutes later, Lin Tao returned to the Golden Girl's room in the Su family. Susan, I'm back? Lin Tao said softly, holding Susan's hand and feeling the warmth in her palm. In the dark space of consciousness, Susan sensed Lin Tao's presence through touch and felt a warm feeling in her heart. Lin Tao seems to have come back later than usual today. Did something happen? I just ran into Lin Jianjun's family again in the hospital, Lin Tao chuckled. They are really a lowly family, but the beauty products of the Lin group have already had problems, and the Lin family will soon face a major crisis. This is a great opportunity for the Su family. Susan listened to Lin Tao's words with mixed feelings. As the head of the Su group, she should have been happy about the rise of the Su family, but when she thought of Lin Tao witnessing his family's decline, her heart was filled with hidden pain. Lin Tao gave up so much for the Su family. Is he really not sad? Suddenly, Lin Tao felt a slight itch in his palm. He looked down and saw Susan writing words on his palm with her fingers. From now on, I will be your relative. Lin Tao was stunned for a moment, then reacted and a smug smile appeared on his face. At this moment, he felt warm in his heart. It turned out that the feeling of being cared for by his wife was so wonderful. From now on, I will be the elder sister and you will be the younger brother, and we will be a family. Susan continued to write on his palm. Lin Tao. D106 Dong Lin Jianjun's hesitation and fear. Lin Tao looked at Lin Jianjun's stupid face and felt helpless. He no longer wanted to get entangled with Lin Jianjun. Anyway, when the Lin group completely collapsed, Lin Jianjun's family would naturally taste the cruelty of reality. Lin Tao secretly wondered, how would this family of three face the dilemma of losing everything? How long could their family affection last? You rebellious son, you actually threatened Xiaohao. It seems that you won't understand unless I teach you a lesson. Lin Jianjun was furious. He untied his belt and planned to perform a father's love is as high as a mountain drama. However, Lin Tao's eyes turned cold, and he was not afraid at all. Instead, he deliberately raised his voice and shouted, "The chairman of the Lin group is here. The fake products he sold ruined our reputation. Everyone, come and seek justice." This shout instantly attracted the attention of many people around, especially those patients who had skin problems due to using Lin's group's beauty ointment. They were originally full of doubts and anger about their symptoms, and when they heard Lin Tao's words, they immediately became furious and surrounded Lin Jianjun. Lin Jianjun, give us an explanation. My face became like this after using your product. Your ointment ruined my face. How are you going to compensate me? If you don't give me an explanation today, don't even think about leaving here. The angry crowd rushed forward and surrounded Lin Jianjun and the other two. Seeing this, Lin Jianjun was completely panicked and quickly tied his belt back on, his face full of fear. He glared at Lin Tao fiercely, his teeth itching with hatred, but he could do nothing. At the same time, Lin Tao had already left the hospital with ease. He hummed a little tune, walked through several alleys, and came to the familiar flower shop. Little brother, you are here to buy flowers again. At the door of the flower shop, a cute little girl ran out excitedly and handed him a bouquet of violets. Lin Tao took the flowers with a smile and touched her head. You are so good, thank you, Xiao Xiao. Chapter 107. If the Lin group wants to succeed, it has to go crazy and rush for money regardless of everything. Just when Lin Jianjun was extremely anxious, Lin Hao couldn't help but put forward his own suggestions. Dad, things have come to this point. I think there may really be something wrong with the company's beauty products. We should hold a board meeting immediately to discuss ways to deal with this public relations crisis. Otherwise, once the problem is exposed, the Lin group may be in an irreparable situation. Although Lin Hao's words made sense, Lin Jianjun was unwilling to face reality at this moment. His face darkened and he shouted angrily, "Shut up! You don't support your own brand at this time, and you dare to shake me. Do you want to destroy the company?" Facing Lin Jianjun's anger, Lin Hao was stunned. This was the first time he felt Lin Jianjun scolding. In the past, these words were said to Lin Tao, and he was just watching the show. Now he has become the one being scolded, and his heart is full of grievances. Seeing this, Bai Yuelan quickly spoke up for her son. Jianjun, Xiaohao is doing this for the good of the company. How can you talk to him like that? She felt sorry for her son and glared at Lin Jianjun with dissatisfaction. Lin Jianjun looked at the disappointed eyes of his wife and children, and a trace of regret surged in his heart. He realized that he was too impulsive, and when he was about to apologize, his cell phone suddenly rang. Jianjun, it's me, Jinglong. By Jinglong's voice came from the other end of the phone, with a hint of helplessness in his tone. Jinglong, why is it you? Lin Jianjun was stunned and felt vaguely uneasy. Our whole family used the beauty ointment, and when we woke up this morning, we all had problems with our faces. The same goes for Yuelon and Xiaohao. It seems that the ointment does have side effects this time. Jianjun, you have to convene a board meeting immediately to discuss a solution. Otherwise, the consequences will be disastrous. Hearing this, Lin Jianjun was struck by lightning. No matter how stubborn he was, he could no longer deny the existence of the problem. His long-cherished dream of reaching the top of Shanghai seemed to be shattered before his eyes. He leaned back on the sofa and sighed, okay, let's call a board meeting. Under by Jinglong's persuasion, Lin Jianjun finally agreed to convene a board meeting to discuss how to deal with the crisis. So he and his family hurried to the company. However, when they arrived at the headquarters of the Lin Group, they were frightened by the scene in front of them. Dozens of angry customers gathered at the company's gate, holding banners and waving sticks, demanding an explanation from the Lin Group. Amid the commotion, Lin Jianjun and his family could only quietly enter through the back door. In the conference room, shareholders of the Lin Group arrived one after another. Bai Jinglong had already sat in a chair, and the Bai brothers and sisters also came together. Most of them had skin problems due to the use of ointments, and they all wore masks to cover up. Lin Jianjun sat at the head of the conference table, his face gloomy. Although he was in pain, as the chairman, he still had to maintain his dignity. I called everyone here today, and everyone should know the reason. The shareholders looked at each other and whispered. Although they had heard about it before, it was not until this moment that they truly realized the seriousness of the problem. Many people looked solemn, knowing that the future of the company hung by a thread. At this moment, a shareholder, Lu Bingkuan, stood up. He was a veteran of the group and held 10% of the shares. He stood up and said slowly, Chairman, the situation is very clear. There is a big problem with our beauty products, and the whole company will be affected. I think no matter how we deal with it, this crisis will seriously damage the company. Hearing this, Lin Jianjun was furious and stood up suddenly. Lu Bingkuan, what are you talking about? The company hasn't even collapsed yet, and you're already saying it's bad? However, Lu Bingkuan looked at Lin Jianjun calmly and continued, Chairman, now that things have come to this, why not take advantage of this last chance and make a fortune like crazy? After all, if you want to succeed, you have to go crazy first. Chapter 108 Lin Jianjun's Decision, a Desperate Gamble. Lin Jianjun's eyes fell on Lu Bingkuan. His eyes were full of complicated emotions. In the meeting room, the shareholders' breathing seemed heavy, and no one dared to speak. Make a final fortune? Lin Jianjun asked coldly, what do you mean by that? Lu Bingkuan stood at the conference table, looking calm, as if he had already thought of the answer. He took out a handkerchief and wiped his forehead calmly, saying calmly, not many people know that the ointment has side effects, but there are still a lot of beauty ointments in stock in the warehouse. If you don't sell them, you will only lose money. Instead of waiting for things to get worse, it's better to sell all the inventory before things completely ferment and make the last big profit. His words were like a bombshell, triggering a strong reaction in the conference room. Everyone was dumbfounded, and everyone wondered if Lu Bingkuan was crazy. What are you talking about? This is simply shameless, a shareholder exclaimed in a low voice. But Lu Bingkuan didn't care about these questioning looks and continued, we have adopted a hunger marketing strategy. The market demand for our products is very high. If we dump the goods in the warehouse in a short period of time, we can take advantage of consumers' blind trust and make a lot of money. Before the situation is completely exposed, everyone cashes out and sells the shares to stop the loss in time. After hearing this, some shareholders showed hesitation on their faces. They had to admit that although Lu Bingkuan's plan was cruel, it was indeed a way to preserve their property under the current circumstances. Lin Jianjun's face was uncertain. This proposal was like the last gamble for him. Once discovered, the Lin Group would be completely overthrown, and he might also face legal sanctions. However, if he did not take action, the loss would be even greater. The conference room was dead silent, and everyone's eyes were focused on Lin Jianjun, waiting for his decision. Ridiculous! Lin Jianjun suddenly shouted, are you instigating me to commit fraud? You are going to destroy the Lin family. The Lin Group is not some shameful and black-hearted enterprise. I will never allow such a thing to happen. His voice was loud, as if he had made the final decision. In the cubicle, Bai Susu was relieved to hear Lin Jianjun's decisive response. She was pleased with her uncle's integrity. However, Bai Yuelan's expression was a little complicated. She knew that Lin Jianjun's refusal was not out of any moral integrity, but because he was reluctant to give up the power and status of the group. If he followed Lu Bingquan's path, the Lin Group would be completely destroyed, and Lin Jianjun could not accept losing these. Lu Bingquan showed no disappointment. His tone remained calm. Chairman, you also know that the situation this time is out of control. If things get out of hand, as the legal person of the company, you may face legal sanctions. At that time, you will not only lose the company, but you may even go to jail. This sentence was like a thorn that pierced Lin Jianjun's heart. His face gradually darkened, and his thoughtful eyes gradually became cold and ruthless. Chairman, you have to think carefully. There are too many victims in this incident. The government will definitely not let you off easily. Our proposal is to allow everyone to get out of this unscathed. After cashing out, immigrating abroad is a good way out. The atmosphere in the conference room suddenly became tense. Some shareholders began to nod in agreement, thinking only of preserving their own interests at the last minute. Lin Jianjun was shaken and had mixed emotions. After a struggle, he finally said, "Okay, let's go for it." Applause broke out, and everyone was in an uproar. Lu Bingquan smiled slightly, and his plan finally got the approval of Lin Jianjun. In the cubicle, Bai Susu felt a chill in her heart when she heard these words. She couldn't believe that her uncle would choose to betray innocent consumers. She rushed out of the cubicle with tears in her eyes. "Aunt, cousin, you can't do this. If you do this, many innocent people will be harmed." Bai Yuelan sighed and comforted her. "Susu, there are some things you don't understand. We don't want to do this, but we have no choice." Bai Susu still shook her head and said firmly, "Money is something outside of one's body. You can't lose your conscience for money. What my uncle did is illegal, and you will be punished." The brothers of the Bai family looked a little unnatural when they saw this. Bai Hai stepped forward and advised earnestly, "Susu, we are doing this for the family. The Bai family also needs this money to deal with the debt crisis. You don't want to see us being forced to pay the debt by Tiger Lord, right?" Bai Susu was caught between family affection and justice, and she was in a dilemma. She was in a deep struggle and didn't know what to do. Finally, she walked out of the meeting room silently, feeling extremely painful. Walking in the empty corridor, she thought of someone. Maybe he could help solve this crisis. Chapter 109 Bai Susu's request for money. "As long as you lend me money, I will agree to let you wash my feet." The ward suddenly fell into deathly silence. Even the air seemed to freeze. Chun Kursin opened her mouth wide at first, and then, as if she had discovered some great secret, her face was filled with an expression of, "I knew it." She suddenly jumped up, pointed at Lin Tao, and kept saying, "I've always felt that there was something wrong with you. Oni-chan, you actually have a real lover. I thought you were a passionate man, but you actually have other thoughts behind Sister Susan's back." Lin Tao was completely confused and quickly waved his hands to explain, "Listen to me. You misunderstood. It's really a misunderstanding." However, Su Fan's eyes had become sharper at this time, almost drilling a hole in Lin Tao's back. He stood at the door, his arms folded across his chest, staring at Lin Tao coldly, as if waiting for him to give a reasonable explanation. "Who are you talking to?" Su Fan asked coldly, with an undisguised hostility in his tone. "Yes, it's a misunderstanding. She is Bai Susu, a member of the Bai family. She called just to borrow some money." Lin Tao hurriedly explained, but just as he finished explaining, Bai Susu's voice came from the microphone again. "Brother Lin Tao, please don't be embarrassed. If you lend me money, I'm willing to accompany you to the movies, shopping, and anything you want. I can agree to it." Everyone. Lin Tao almost collapsed, muttering to himself, "It's over. I can't wash myself clean even if I jump into the Yellow River." He didn't dare to look back at Su Fan's expression behind him, but he could feel the cold gaze, as if Su Fan would pin him to the ground and rub him in the next second. "Okay, shut up. Stop talking." Lin Tao lowered his voice and said to Bai Susu on the other end of the phone, and immediately hung up. At this time, Chun Kursin had a look of watching a good show on her face, crossed her arms, shook her head and said with a smile, "Aoni-chan, it's true that you are Susan's white moonlight, but it seems that you are also someone else's white moonlight." Lin Tao was helpless. There's really nothing between me and her. We're just ordinary friends. Anyone can lend money to her. It's not what you think. Ordinary friend? Su Fan finally spoke, his eyes as sharp as a knife, his tone icy. Whose ordinary friend would be so humble to borrow money and even bring up washing feet and giving clothes? Do you think I don't understand these hints? Lin Tao smiled bitterly, knowing that no matter how much he explained, it was useless. At this moment, Susan moved her fingers gently on the bed, as if responding to Lin Tao's anxiety. Lin Tao looked down and found that she wrote on his palm with her fingers, "I believe you." Seeing these 3 words, Lin Tao finally breathed a sigh of relief and felt warm in his heart. He grabbed Susan's hand and said softly, "Susan understands me best, unlike some people who make wild guesses." Su Fan frowned when he saw this, but after looking at his sister's reaction, he didn't ask any more questions. He snorted coldly, turned around and walked out. "Oni Ai-chan, even if you pass this time, don't get a call like this again next time." Chen Kursen blinked and smiled mischievously. Lin Tao shook his head helplessly, thinking, when will this inexplicable trouble end in my peaceful life? Chapter 110 by Susu's despair and determination. Sacrifice me to save thousands of people. Worth it. Su Fan stood at the door, listening to the conversation between Lin Tao and Bai Susu on the other end of the phone. His face gradually darkened. Although he didn't understand the specific situation, he had made up his mind. If Lin Tao really did something to let his sister down, he would definitely seek justice for his sister. Meanwhile, Susan, who was lying on the hospital bed, was already in a state of confusion. She had originally had confidence in Lin Tao, but as Bai Susu's words came, her doubts began to ferment. Bai Susu? The girl I visited that day? She is Lin Tao's lover. What did she mean? Washing feet? And giving me underwear? Is Lin Tao a super pervert? Was his previous affection all fake? However, Lin Tao reacted quickly and hit back bluntly. Are you crazy? You called to borrow 500 million and said these inexplicable words. His voice was firm and unambiguous. I have a fiancée, and the person I like is Susan. This decisive announcement instantly froze the atmosphere in the room. Chen Kursin and Su Fan were both stunned, and Susan on the bed trembled. Although she had just had a brief doubt, when she heard Lin Tao say her name in person, her uneasiness instantly disappeared. Believe. She gently wrote this word on Lin Tao's palm. Chen Kursin curled her lips. Although she felt a little unwilling, she had to admit that Lin Tao's deep affection was beyond doubt. Su Fan was still standing at the door with a complicated expression. He felt that his sister seemed to have completely trusted Lin Tao, which reminded him of his aunt's past obsession. Meanwhile, Bai Susu was in endless grievance and shame. She squatted under the big banyan tree in front of the Lin group, repeating Lin Tao's name in her heart. She thought of her past efforts and Lin Tao's confession of his foot fetish to her, and tears welled up in her eyes. Does Lin Tao really not like me anymore? Does he only like Susan now? She struggled internally, trying to accept this reality. However, when she looked up at the protesting victims at the gate of Lin's group, her sense of mission was rekindled. I can't be depressed any longer. I have to do something. However, facing the family's debt problem, she could not find a solution for a while. Without the money, how could she stop Lin Jianjun's crazy plan? And deep in her heart, a very desperate thought suddenly emerged. If she sacrificed her body, could she get Tiger Lord to postpone the repayment period, so that the family could breathe a sigh of relief? Bai Susu's face turned pale instantly, and her body trembled with fear. However, a strong sense of responsibility drove her to make a decision. She took out her mobile phone and called Lin Tao again. This time, she didn't come to borrow money, but to find out Tiger Lord's contact information. Even if she had to sacrifice herself, she had to prevent more innocent people from being harmed. The moment the call was connected, Bai Susu suppressed her inner fear, took a deep breath, and firmly convinced herself. If her sacrifice could save those families, then it would all be worth it. Chapter 111. My wife has spoken. Even if there are mountains of swords and seas of fire ahead, we must flatten them. Lin Tao had just resolved the previous misunderstanding and was about to breathe a sigh of relief when his phone rang again. Ding-ling-ling. Master, there's a call. It was her again? Lin Tao frowned and looked helpless when he saw the caller ID. Oh my god, Bai Susu is bothering him again. Lin Tao wanted to hang up the phone directly, but thinking that it might cause misunderstandings, he had to sigh and turn on the speaker mode. Brother Lin Tao, it's me. Let me make it clear first, I don't need to borrow money, but I have to pay for my life. Lin Tao interrupted her. Suddenly, a soft sob came from the other end of the phone. Lin Tao was stunned for a moment. He was crying already? He was too fragile. Everyone in the room was also stunned by the sudden cry. Women are such a hassle. Su Fan stood at the door and commented coldly. Oh, Oni-chan, how can you say that? Girls are the most beautiful creatures in the world. Chen Kursin, who was standing by, held her face in her hands, her eyes full of pity. Lin Tao glanced at the two of them, feeling speechless. Chen Kursin had just regarded Bai Susu as a love rival, but now when she heard her crying, she looked like she wanted to protect her. Women are indeed fickle. At this time, Bai Susu on the other end of the phone finally calmed down, and her tone became steady. Brother Lin Tao, I want to ask you for Zhao Hu's contact information. Zhao Hu? What do you want to do with him? Lin Tao frowned. I want to ask him if he can postpone the repayment period. Bai Susu whispered. Postpone the repayment? Lin Tao sneered. Do you think someone like Zhao Hu would agree? I want to give it a try. Bai Susu lowered her voice. If it doesn't work, I plan to exchange my body for it. As soon as the voice on the other end of the phone fell, the atmosphere in the room froze instantly. Are you crazy? Lin Tao was the first to speak. Do you know what you were talking about? Chen Kursin's eyes widened and she covered her mouth. Oh my god, no. How can we let such a disgusting uncle get away with it? She jumped up excitedly as she spoke. No, absolutely not. Oni-chan, help her. Su Fan watched coldly from the doorway. He was extremely disgusted by this self-degrading behavior. Bai Susu was willing to sell herself out just to delay repayment? It was so stupid. Susan also heard the content of the call through the speaker, and a complex emotion surged in her heart. Was this girl trying to save her family? She thought of her past, and all the efforts and sacrifices she had made for her family, and her heart was moved. This is not a solution to the problem, Lin Tao said coldly. Do you think Zhao Hu will give you time if you use your body in exchange? He will only become more aggressive. Bai Susu was silent for a moment, and then she said with a choked voice, But my family is really broke, and I just don't want my uncle to go on the illegal path. I just want to do something. At this moment, Lin Tao felt a gentle touch on his palm. He looked down and saw that it was Susan's little hand writing on his palm. Help her. Seeing these two words, Lin Tao smiled slightly. He knew Susan's nature, and she was not as cold and ruthless as she looked. Although she didn't say it, her heart was still soft, especially to a girl like this. She couldn't be indifferent. Lin Tao no longer hesitated and said softly, Okay, I'll help you. Bai Susu on the other end of the phone was stunned, then said excitedly, Really, Brother Lin Tao? Are you willing to help me? I can help you, but not in the way you think. Come to me tomorrow and I will find a way to help you. Lin Tao said lightly. Thank you, Brother Lin Tao. Bai Susu was grateful on the other end of the phone, with tears in her voice. After hanging up the phone, Lin Tao held Susan's hand tightly and gently wrote a word on her palm. Okay. Susan understood what he meant, and the uneasiness in her heart gradually dissipated. She trusted Lin Tao even more. Although there were many unresolved issues between them, every action of Lin Tao was gradually breaking down the ice wall in her heart. Lin Tao smiled and looked at everyone, thinking to himself, since Susan had spoken, he would naturally deal with tomorrow's affairs. Moreover, he had tolerated the Lin family and Zhao Hu for too long. It was time to resolve everything. D112 Zhang, my beloved girl, is asking me for help. How can I remain indifferent? Lin Tao happened to hear Bai Susu's sobbing from the phone. He didn't expect that this innocent girl was about to cry because of his words. He felt helpless, but also a little soft-hearted. Brother Lin Tao, I really don't want to cause you trouble, but I really have no other choice. Bai Susu's voice on the other end of the phone was filled with despair, and she sobbed softly, like a helpless little deer. Lin Tao sighed slightly. Although he was not forgiving, he felt a little sorry for her pitiful tone. After all, Bai Susu was an innocent and kind girl. She was willing to give everything for the victims and even made such a dangerous decision, which moved him and made him speechless. Okay, stop crying. I don't have Zhao Hu's contact information, but don't worry about this matter. Lin Tao changed the subject, and his tone softened a lot. What? You mean? Bai Susu was obviously stunned, her tone full of uncertainty and expectation. Yes, I will help you. Don't worry, no matter what Lin Jianjun's wishful thinking is, I will solve it. I will not stand idly by and watch such an immoral thing. Lin Tao's voice was decisive and firm. Hearing this, Bai Susu's tears stopped instantly, and a warm current surged in her heart. She had never thought that Lin Tao would stand up for her so directly, even regardless of family relations. At this moment, she felt extremely warm in her heart, as if she saw light in the endless darkness. But won't this be too much trouble for you? Bai Susu was still a little hesitant, afraid that she would bring trouble to Lin Tao, especially since she knew the complicated relationship between the Lin family and Lin Tao. What a trouble. You look down on your brother Lin Tao too much, don't you? Lin Tao pretended to be nonchalant and said lightly, "Remember, as long as I want to do something, no one can stop me. Besides, there is a girl I like who asked me for a favor for the first time, and I definitely can't let her down." "You? The girl you like?" Bai Susu was obviously stunned by this sudden sentence, and her mind went blank instantly. Could it be that he still likes her? In the room, Chen Kursin and Su Fan were also stunned. Chen Kursin opened her mouth wide and couldn't help but sigh. It turns out that brother Lin Tao is so affectionate. However, at this moment, Lin Tao's attention had already returned to Susan lying on the bed. He looked at the still sleeping girl, and a feeling of tenderness rose in his heart. She was the person he cared about most now, and he was willing to do anything for her. Although Susan still had her eyes closed, her heart was already stirred. Lin Tao's words, "the girl I like," made her heart beat faster, and her face seemed to be a little hot. She couldn't speak in response, but she knew that the beloved girl Lin Tao was talking about should be her, right? She smiled silently in her heart, as if she was full of anticipation for the future, held Lin Tao's hand gently, conveying her inner feelings. She believed that no matter what happened, Lin Tao would always hold up a sky for her. Lin Tao felt Susan's little move and was delighted. He whispered to himself, "Okay, don't worry, no matter what happens, I will solve it." Chapter 113 Resurrection. My love. Bai Susu's thoughts suddenly became clear. It turned out that Lin Tao's previous words and deeds were all because he had been hinting at her. Lin Tao said that he liked Susan, but in fact, his beloved girl had always been her. She finally understood now that Lin Tao's entanglement and uncertainty might be because he was caught between her and Susan and couldn't make a choice. "I have a chance to." Bai Susu's heart beat fast, her pretty face flushed, shyness and excitement intertwined. She began to imagine, maybe Lin Tao has not been able to confess his feelings just because he doesn't want to hurt Susan? Maybe he has deeper feelings for me? Thinking of this, she suddenly became full of expectations, and all the worries and pressures she had originally had were instantly reduced. At this moment, the anime scene on her phone suddenly attracted her attention. In the scene, the hero Tang San, in order to win back his beloved girl, was desperate and used all his strength to revive her. This scene deeply touched Bai Susu's heart. That unchanging love scene seemed to reflect her and Lin Tao's future. Brother Lin Tao has done so much for me. Could it be that he is actually like Tang San, willing to do his best for me? Bai Susu gently held her face with both hands, feeling her heart beating like a drum, and she became shy and nervous. She suddenly realized that perhaps she had always misunderstood Lin Tao's true intentions. "Oh, maybe I should take the initiative." Bai Susu mustered up a bit of courage. She was usually gentle and weak, but now she felt that if she didn't take the initiative, she might miss brother Lin Tao. Thinking of this, she suddenly decided to fight for her own happiness. At the same time, Lin Tao had already formulated a response plan. He was still thinking about how to expose the shady dealings of the Lin group and prevent more innocent people from being harmed. Lin Tao knew that exposing this information gap would completely destroy Lin Jianjun's plan and completely disrupt their crazy actions. In the ward, Susan silently held Lin Tao's hand, feeling his determination. She was touched by Lin Tao's actions, but also slightly worried that Lin Tao would completely break up with his family because of this. But she was more confident and trustful of him. Lin Tao looked out the window, his heart full of fighting spirit. He knew that he would fight back without hesitation, whether it was against the Lin family or other forces. And his eyes gradually became firm, because in his heart, protecting his beloved girls was his greatest mission. This game has just begun. Chapter 114 The Most Beautiful Music. Bai Susu was immersed in the melody of fairy tale until the video screen did not end. She heard Lin Hao's puzzled voice and looked at the screen. This time, L not only released a new song, but also added a content that shocked everyone. At the end of the video, a line of words slowly appeared on the screen. The beauty ointment products under the Lin group have serious side effects, causing skin problems and even disfigurement for many users. I hope everyone will spread the word to prevent more innocent people from being harmed. In an instant, The barrage of comments exploded, and the screen full of instantly turned into angry accusations and questions. What? This is a scam. What on earth does the Lin Group want to do? Disfigurement? They are simply a shady company. Master L's revelation is definitely correct. Everyone, spread the word quickly so that no one else will be deceived. Bai Susu's heart sank suddenly. Her mind flashed back to her father and uncle's greed for profit, and the bloody truth of the Lin Group's actions seemed to be revealed. At this moment, she clearly realized that the Lin family had reached the edge of the cliff. Brother Lin Tao. So this is what he called action. Bai Susu's heart was extremely complicated. She originally thought that Lin Tao would only help quietly behind the scenes, but she didn't expect that he would directly expose the scandal of the Lin Group and even use the identity of El to set off a storm of public opinion. She suddenly felt an indescribable admiration and awe. Lin Tao was not only the gentle brother she knew, but also the man who could protect justice with actions. My beloved girl asked me for the first time, how could I remain indifferent? Bai Susu's eyes were moist again, and all that came to her mind was Lin Tao's confession that made her heart surge. She felt not only his care for her, but also a strong sense of responsibility and mission. How could she not be moved by such a man? While she was thinking, Lin Hao and her 3 cousins beside her were completely furious, and their mobile phones continued to play the angry comments from netizens. We have to notify my uncle quickly. The situation is out of control. Lin Hao shouted anxiously, his face full of anxiety. By Hai, the eldest brother and others also realized the seriousness of the problem and nervously discussed countermeasures, trying to make up for the impending crisis. But Bai Susu knew in her heart that it was too late. Lin Tao's attack directly hit the most fatal weakness of the Lin Group. The storm of public opinion was brewing rapidly and could not be stopped at all. She stood up silently, walked to the window, and looked at the dark sky in the distance. Her heart seemed to have experienced a violent storm. She knew that behind this crisis was not only the fate of the Lin family group, but also the relationship between her and Lin Tao. Perhaps, after this storm is over, I should make a final decision. Bai Susu's eyes gradually became firm. She knew that no matter what, Lin Tao was always the man who was willing to fight for her. Chapter 115. What's expensive? Sometimes you should look for your own reasons. Has your salary increased over the years? The release of singer L's new song has set the entire internet on fire. Everyone thought it was just a new moving work, but it turned out to be a heartbreaking news. Hello fans, I'm El. I have some unfortunate news to tell you today. This may be my last update. El said in a heavy tone at the beginning of the video. I was originally planning to show up and meet you all. In order to stay in the best condition, I used the beauty ointment from the Magic City Lin Pharmaceutical Group. The effect was remarkable at first, but I never expected that the side effects would gradually appear later. He paused for a moment here. My face is ruined, and I can no longer face you who love me so much. In the video, El reluctantly announced that he would stop updating indefinitely. The pain and helplessness on his face were heartbreaking. Before the end, he sincerely reminded everyone, don't use Lin Group's beauty products. This will be a lesson I learned through blood and tears. The video ended abruptly, but within just a few minutes, the anger of netizens had quickly spread. We have lost the future of Chinese music. The Lin Group has done a lot of harm to people. These black-hearted merchants deserve to be punished by God. El was disfigured because of the inferior ointment from the Lin Group. We cannot remain silent. The top executives of Lin's are selling their shares at high prices. They are preparing to run away with the money. Netizens were furious and flocked to Lin Jianjun's live broadcast room in groups to demand justice. At this time, the meeting room at the Lin Group headquarters was dead silent. Lin Hao stared at his phone in a daze, unable to believe that his own group had ruined his idol. Everyone in the meeting room fell silent, realizing that Lin Jianjun's crazy money-making plan could no longer be implemented. Bai Susu looked at her phone, feeling very complicated. She remembered what Lin Tao said not long ago. Could it be that he planned all this? She shook her head, unable to believe it. In the official live broadcast room of Lin Group, Lin Jianjun was still selling hard, smearing beautifying ointment on his face, pretending that it was his own product. The number of viewers soared, sales soared, but angry comments gradually appeared. Get out here and give us an explanation. El is ruined, and you still have the nerve to promote the product? The atmosphere in the live broadcast room took a sharp turn for the worse. When Lin Jianjun saw someone questioning the expensiveness of the ointment in the barrage, he immediately became furious and criticized, expensive. Is 7,900 yuan expensive? Look for your own problems. Have your salaries increased? Stop blasting for no reason. His rapid-fire complaints angered more netizens, and the barrage was completely drowned out by the angry comments. Lin Jianjun didn't realize the seriousness of the problem and continued to complain. Bai Yuelan was so anxious that her face turned pale, and there was only one thought in her mind. This man is really crazy. The wave of anger is coming like a tsunami, and the Lin group is destined to be completely overturned in this storm. Chapter 116. Lin Jianjun vomits blood and falls into coma. Questions from the brother-in-law. A conflict between the two sides? When Lin Jianjun apologized sincerely in the live broadcast room and tried to use sympathy to redeem the lost situation, the internet was already boiling. Many netizens were completely furious at his contemptuous remarks and hypocritical attitude, and anger and dissatisfaction swept in like a tide. You make money from ordinary people, and you still mock us for being incompetent? A beauty ointment worth 7,900. Do you think everyone is a billionaire? The Lin group destroyed my idol, and now they are still selling fakes. Lin Jianjun's attempt failed. He thought he could stabilize the situation by apology, but he didn't expect that the anger of netizens was far beyond his expectations. The barrage was quickly flooded with insults and questions, and the entire live broadcast room became a public trial for Lin Jianjun and his wife. They didn't expect that in the face of the condemnation of the entire network, their disguise and explanation seemed so pale and powerless. The number of viewers in the live broadcast room continued to soar, but this was not a profitable audience, but a massive online siege. The barrage of comments came like waves, and every word of Lin Jianjun was quickly refuted and ridiculed. Some netizens even joked, "Mr. Lin, are you selling face medicine? Because you are really thick-skinned." Eventually, the atmosphere in the live broadcast room got completely out of control. Lin Jianjun collapsed in extreme anger and confronted netizens directly. "You got my apology? Why are you still not letting me go? I admit that I was wrong, but you are just looking for an excuse to attack me." Netizens responded even more fiercely. "Who wants your apology? Do you really think you can put your ruined face back on?" As the war of words continued, Lin Jianjun lost control of his emotions, suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood, and fainted on the spot. The live broadcast room suddenly fell into chaos. Bai Yuelan panicked, and the staff hurriedly sent Lin Jianjun to the hospital. At the same time, the atmosphere in the Su family manor was completely different. Lin Tao received a call from Su Shengtian, and an excited voice came from the other end of the phone. "Lin Tao, I heard that Lin Jianjun was so angry that he fainted. Their beauty ointment was exposed all over the internet, and now the whole internet is full of curses. I'm afraid that the Lin group is completely finished." Lin Tao smiled calmly. Not surprising, Lin Jianjun himself can't bear such a blow. As for the Su family's beauty pill, now is not the best time to launch it. We have to wait until this matter ferments to the highest point before we can launch it in the most perfect manner. Su Shangtian agreed with Lin Tao's judgment without hesitation. After hanging up the phone, Lin Tao also breathed a sigh of relief. The situation in front of him was gradually under his control. Susan, who was lying on the hospital bed, listened to Lin Tao's arrangements with gratitude and admiration in her heart. Lin Tao has given so much to the Su family, and was even willing to give out such a precious recipe for the future of the Su family. If it weren't for him, the Su family would have lost the chance of revival by now. Just as Susan was silently thinking about how to repay Lin Tao's kindness, a questioning voice suddenly sounded in the room. "Are you sure there is no problem with the prescription of the beauty pill?" Su Fan put his hands in his pockets, frowning. His doubts instantly made the atmosphere in the room solemn. Su Fan didn't care about the life and death of the Lin group, but he was extremely vigilant about the interests of the Su family. He doubted whether this recipe was really effective, because in this era of declining martial arts, Su Fan was amazed that other people, especially Lin Tao, could come up with such a precious recipe. If something goes wrong, the Su group will pay a huge price. Su Fan's words were full of doubts. Lin Tao responded calmly, "Don't worry, I can guarantee that the Su family will not be at any risk. The effect of the beauty pill will definitely not disappoint you." Su Fan still had doubts in his eyes, but he didn't say anything more and just looked at Lin Tao silently. He began to think that maybe Lin Tao was not as simple as he seemed, but now he could only choose to wait and see. Chapter 117. Su Fan was heartbroken. "My little sister actually drove me away for a man." Lin Tao's voice is like a breeze, and along with his skillful guitar sound, the atmosphere of the whole room instantly becomes peaceful and warm. His singing voice is full of emotion, deep and penetrating, as if telling a touching story. I once encountered a beam of light. In front of me, I flew on the wings of the wind, running towards you fearless of the injuries I had suffered, holding the clouds and the moon in my palms. With each line of lyrics, Lin Tao's fingertips plucked the strings lightly, and the melody was melodious and graceful, as if sweeping away all worries and fatigue. The song depicts a kind of pursuit and perseverance, as if he was using his singing to express his expectations for the future and his persistence in a better life. Chin Kursin, who was standing by, was mesmerized by the song, her eyes full of admiration and amazement. Susan, who was lying on the hospital bed, was unable to speak, but her heart had already been touched by Lin Tao's singing, and a warm feeling rose deep in her heart. Every note seemed to hit her heart, and that familiar voice seemed to whisper to her, "I will always protect you until you open your eyes again." Lin Tao sang more passionately, the sound of the guitar and his voice intertwined perfectly, gradually reaching a climax. "I thought the world was full of confusion. Until I met you. You brought me hope, and let me see the light." At this moment, Lin Tao's singing is like the first ray of sunshine in the morning, awakening all the confusion and anxiety. He conveys a silent promise through music, as if every note carries the deepest feelings in his heart. As the song ended, the room fell into a brief silence. Lin Tao's last note echoed in the air, like an emotional echo that was reluctant to dissipate for a long time. "Oni-chan, your song this time is so beautiful." Chin Kursin clapped her hands excitedly, her eyes sparkling. "This is definitely going to be another hit." Lin Tao smiled, put down his guitar, and said calmly, "This is just the beginning. Once I add the slogan, we can send it out directly." Susan was still lying quietly on the bed. Her heart was already surging. Every word of Lin Tao's lyrics made her feel the indescribable emotion. She knew very well that the man in front of her was not only a genius, but also the most important guardian in her life. Lin Tao's song is not just a simple song. It is more like a foreshadowing for the Mayan advertisement, and it is also a promise he made silently in his heart. As the recording device was turned off, the room returned to calm. Lin Tao looked down at his phone, thinking about his next plan. He wanted to fight this advertising war beautifully, and this song would be the fire that ignited the entire market. Chapter 118. First time being intimate. Susan's shame and anger. "My first kiss is gone?" Outside the window, the sun shines on Lin Tao's face, and the breeze blows gently. He sits beside the bed, looking at Susan's beautiful face, his fingers dancing on the strings of the guitar, and the affectionate melody flows out. Every note seems to carry his love and hope for Susan, expressing his deepest emotions through music. The song was melodious and powerful, like a beam of light, penetrating the silence of the ward and enveloping the girl with gentle power. Every line of the lyrics was full of affection, as if telling of his thoughts and expectations for his fiancée. Everything grows madly between day and night. We try to get closer to each other. Our heartbeats are sensing the same frequency, and we look forward to colliding at some point in the second. Chen Kursin, who was standing by and recording, had tears in her eyes. She was deeply moved by Lin Tao's affectionate singing and secretly admired this man for his persistence in love. She also made up her mind to protect this relationship no matter what the future holds. In the ward, the air seemed frozen. Although Susan was sleeping, her heart had already been touched by the affectionate singing. After Lin Tao played the last note, he slowly leaned over and gently kissed Susan on the forehead. "Susan, I will wait for you to wake up, no matter how long it takes. You are the light in my life. I will use my music to illuminate every corner of your darkness and dispel all your fear and confusion." Lin Tao's voice was low, firm, and full of power. Susan couldn't respond, but her heartbeat seemed to speed up. The ripples of emotion in her heart could not be calmed down, and a blush quietly appeared on her face. Although she was still asleep and unable to speak, her feelings for Lin Tao were no longer cold and rejecting. Chun Kursin stood aside, watching Lin Tao's actions, and couldn't help sneezing, jokingly saying, "The air is full of the sour smell of love. I can't stand it anymore." Lin Tao smiled and teased, "You can go now. Don't disturb Susan's rest." "Himph, you heartless Oni-chan. Just go." Chun Kursin made a face unwillingly, turned around and left with the recording equipment. However, on the other side of the room, Su Fan was sitting silently, listening to the noise coming from upstairs. Although he admired Lin Tao's musical talent, He still thought that Lin Tao could not impress Susan. But what he didn't know was that Susan's heart had already changed quietly. She was no longer the girl who resisted everything, and Lin Tao's deep affection gradually melted the coldness in her heart. Lin Tao gently put down his guitar, took Susan's hand, and said with a smile, "No matter what, I will wait for you to wake up until that day comes." Chapter 119. The conflict between Lin Hao and his mother begins. Inside the luxurious ward of the Lin group, the air was filled with a heavy sense of depression. Lin Jianjun lay unconscious on the hospital bed, while Bai Yuelon and Lin Hao beside him were extremely anxious. The wrath of public opinion from the outside world swept in like a tsunami, and the entire internet was condemning the Lin family, leaving the mother and son feeling extremely helpless. "Mommy, what should we do now? Will the group really go bankrupt?" Lin Hao kept pacing, his inner anxiety becoming increasingly difficult to control. He thought he would be the next person in charge of the Lin group and lead the family to continue its glory, but within just a few days, all his dreams turned into bubbles. Bai Yuelon also had a sad face and bit her lips tightly. She had never thought that she would encounter such a blow. The Lin group had always been smooth sailing in the past, but suddenly it was pushed to the forefront by netizens and became the public enemy of the entire network. "It's all that damn L," she thought viciously. "He shouldn't have exposed Lin's products like this and didn't give us a chance to react." Lin Hao still didn't give up and kept asking, "Mommy, what should we do? If the company goes bankrupt, won't we have to live a hard life? I don't want this." Bai Yuelon's head was buzzing and she felt irritated. She looked at Lin Jianjun lying on the hospital bed, feeling helpless and resentful. In the past, her husband always came forward to solve any problems, but now he was unconscious. She lost control and shouted angrily, "Shut up! Don't ask me anymore. How do I know what to do? Can't you use your brain?" Lin Hao was stunned. He had never been scolded by his mother like this before. He looked at Bai Yuelon in disbelief with a face full of grievance. Bai Yuelon, realizing her loss of composure, immediately softened her attitude and apologized repeatedly. "I'm sorry, Xiaohao. Mommy shouldn't be so mean to you. But now Mommy really doesn't know what to do." The ward fell into a brief silence. The mother and son were speechless for a moment, both feeling the same fear and helplessness. At the same time, Lin Tao was quietly planning his next move in the Su family manner. His eyes were firm, and he had a clear plan in mind. Public opinion has almost fermented. When the Lin family's stock price falls to the bottom and no one is willing to take over, it will be the best time for me to acquire it. A trace of determination flashed in Lin Tao's eyes. If the Lin family does not fall, who will dominate the Magic City? He knew that he couldn't manage the company himself and had to find a capable assistant. A name came to his mind, Maringja. The name of this business genius was the most critical step in Lin Tao's plan. Maringja was Su Fan's future capable assistant. Now he was extremely anxious because of his childhood sweetheart's illness. Lin Tao knew that this was the best time for him to approach and win over Maringja. Lin Tao's mouth corners slightly raised. "Maringja, you are mine." Chapter 120. Lin Jianjun's plan is to sell the shares back to Lin Tao. In the VIP ward of the First People's Hospital of Shanghai, Lin Hao paced back and forth anxiously, while Bai Yuelon looked bewildered. Facing her son's question, she was also at a loss. After all, they had not yet repaid the high-interest loan they had borrowed from Tiger Lord, and now the company was on the verge of bankruptcy and had no means to repay the debt. And with Tiger Lord's style, if he could not repay the debt, the consequences would be disastrous. Thinking of this, Bai Yuelon's heart tightened, and a hint of cruelty flashed in her eyes. How much savings do we have now?" She finally began to calculate her assets. Lin Hao sighed, "Mommy, we don't have much savings left. We originally saved a lot, enough to get through this period, but we gave it all to that bastard Lin Tao." Bai Yuelon gnashed her teeth as she recalled the past, regret welling up in her heart. If she had not been so generous at the beginning, at least she would have had some options for retreat. With nowhere else to turn, she turned her attention to the Lin Group. How much money is left in the company's account? If it goes bankrupt and liquidates, Lin Jianjun, as the largest shareholder, should be able to get a share, right? There is less than 100 million left in the company's account, and it is estimated that only tens of millions can be distributed. Lin Hao replied, "Tens of millions?" Bai Yuelon frowned and began to calculate. She felt that this was not enough. But even a small amount of money is still money, and it is better than having no money at all. She began to think about whether she should take Lin Hao and run away with the money. Just when she made up her mind, Bai Yuelon decided to tell her son a secret. Xiaohao, mommy has something to tell you. She put her hands on Lin Hao's shoulders and said seriously. However, before she finished her words, Lin Jianjun's voice suddenly came from behind her. What are you doing? Bai Yuelon turned around abruptly and found that Lin Jianjun had woken up and was staring at them coldly. My dear husband, when did you wake up? She was so frightened that she couldn't speak clearly. When Lin Hao saw his father wake up, he ran to the bed and asked with concern, Daddy, you're awake. How do you feel? Lin Jianjun smiled, but then changed the subject and asked about the company's situation. When he learned that the Lin Group was facing bankruptcy, his face suddenly darkened. The company became the target of public criticism, business stagnated, and a large number of employees resigned. All this made him feel exhausted. Daddy, you'd better think of a solution quickly. If we don't solve this problem, the company will be doomed. Lin Hao urged. Lin Jianjun was silent for a moment, then smiled bitterly and shook his head. There is no hope. The public opinion is too great and it can't be saved. For now, the only thing to do is to make as much money as possible and then immigrate abroad. After saying that, he suddenly thought of Lin Tao and decided to sell the shares to him again. I want to sell the shares to that rebellious son. After hearing this, Lin Hao and his mother thought it was unlikely, but they also saw the last hope. However, Bai Yuelon was full of doubts. Will my brother buy it? The company is in such a mess now. Lin Jianjun's eyes flashed with a hint of cruelty. He is the child of the Lin family. The Lin family cannot be destroyed in his hands. If he dares to refuse, it would be a great rebellion. After saying that, he picked up his phone and called Lin Tao. Hello. Lin Tao's cold voice came from the other end of the phone. Son, please save Daddy. Save the Lin family. Daddy knows he was wrong, please. Chapter 121, The End of the Lin Group. Lin Jianjun died of vomiting blood due to anger. In the Su family's girl's bedroom, Lin Tao thought he could enjoy a moment of warmth, but was interrupted by a sudden ringing of his cell phone. The crying sound from the other end of the phone stunned him for a moment, until he heard the familiar voice, and then he realized that it was from his father, Lin Jianjun, who had almost severed his relationship with him. Son, please save Daddy, save the Lin family. Lin Jianjun pleaded on the phone with endless regret and fear. The Lin Group has run into a big problem. We urgently need a sum of money to save the crisis. You can't just stand by and watch us die. Lin Tao sneered and secretly speculated in his heart that it seemed that Lin Jianjun had learned his lesson this time and no longer cursed like before, but chose a strategy of both soft and hard tactics. Unfortunately, these tricks had no effect on him. Lin Jianjun, what kind of father-son relationship do we have? Lin Tao responded coldly. Stop using these false pretenses to deceive me. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll die. Lin Jianjun on the other end of the phone was stunned, obviously not expecting Lin Tao to be so cold. After all, he once thought that as long as he begged humbly, this son who once longed for his father's love would definitely soften his heart. However, the reality was far more cruel than he had imagined. Lin Tao did not buy it at all and proposed a condition that Lin Jianjun could not accept. You want me to help you? Then you should sever your relationship with the mother and son first, and then we can talk about forgiveness. Lin Jianjun's face instantly turned livid, and a nameless anger surged in his heart. He gritted his teeth on the phone, but did not dare to lose his temper, so he could only continue to persuade him earnestly. At the same time, Lin Hao and his son were listening in fear, fearing that Lin Jianjun would really agree to Lin Tao's request. But Lin Jianjun did not give in. While comforting Lin Hao and his mother, he continued to call Lin Tao, pleading in his tone, Xiao Tao, the company really needs a lot of money to save it. As long as you are willing to help, I can sell you my shares, 55% of the shares, how about it? Lin Tao smiled playfully and had his own plan in mind. He offered a price that Lin Jianjun could hardly accept, 100 million. How about it? When Lin Jianjun heard this, he was almost furious. 100 million? He almost felt that this was an insult to him. But at the moment, he had no choice but to suppress his anger and bargain with Lin Tao. However, Lin Tao was firm and refused to give in. Finally, Lin Tao hung up the phone impatiently, leaving Lin Jianjun almost mad with anger. In the ward, Lin Jianjun smashed the phone angrily and cursed Lin Tao's cold-bloodedness. At this time, Lin Hao received a call and learned that the company's stock price was plummeting at an alarming rate, even falling below 20 yuan. This news was like a bolt from the blue. Lin Jianjun felt a sharp pain in his chest and finally spit out a mouthful of blood and fell on the bed. At this moment, he realized that he might really be powerless. At the same time, Lin Tao was at the company headquarters, watching all this happen with a triumphant smile on his face. Chapter 122. The mastermind behind the attack on the Lin family is the overbearing President Hua Kitchen. Humph. Useless trash. A cold voice came from the other side of the microphone, which scared Lu Bingkuan so much that he broke out in a cold sweat and his legs trembled. He knew that the young Master Hua across from him was cold-blooded and ruthless, and would bury someone's entire family at any time. Fortunately, the man on the other side of the microphone seemed to be in a good mood today, and did not blame too much. That's all. Even though the plan was wrong, the result of the Lin family's demise remains unchanged, and that's enough. I want to let Lin Tao know that if he dares to touch the woman that Hua Kitchen likes, I will bury his entire Lin family with him. I have something else to do. I'm hanging up. Beep, beep, beep. After the communication was interrupted, Lu Bingkuan breathed a sigh of relief, threw his phone on the table, and then slumped down on the sofa. Why? After helping Mr. Hua deal with this matter, I have to find a way to escape from his control. Otherwise, such a life of fear and worry is really unbearable for human beings. Lu Bingkuan thought about it, but when he thought of the power of the Hua family, he felt a little unsure. Huaxia Group, an old first-tier family in Shanghai, mainly engaged in real estate industry. He owns the best shopping malls, hotels, and high-end residential areas in Shanghai, and his real estate business is spread all over the country. He is a famous real estate tycoon in the entire Chinese region. Hua Kitchen, 30 years old. The current eldest son of the Hua family and the designated heir of the Hua family in the future. He is hailed as a rare business genius in a century, extremely ambitious and courageous, and possessing keen market insight. I often visit domestic and international markets to look for new investment opportunities. His team is always able to accurately grasp the pulse of the market and formulate scientific development strategies. Because of his strategic planning in the business world, the Hua family's real estate empire has grown stronger in just a few years. Who could have thought that such a gifted child would end up falling for the most beautiful woman in the Magic City? After pursuing her for several years, she was cruelly rejected. She couldn't get what she wanted, so she turned her love into hatred. She began to target the Su family openly and covertly, which accelerated the decline of the Su family. And the reason why they targeted the Lin family was because the engagement between the Lin and Su families angered the jealous Hua Kitchen. Just as Lu Bingkuan frowned and thought, the other side. In a luxurious 5-star hotel, there was a man with a sharp face and wearing a bathrobe. He sat on a brown French imported sofa. A thick cigar was pinched between his bony fingers. He looked at the big bed in front of him, where a short-haired woman was sobbing while hugging the sheets, and a hoarse and cold laugh rang out. Woman, you really have a way. You used all your efforts and finally climbed into my bed. No, you misunderstood. I was drugged yesterday. When I was running for my life, I accidentally went into your room. The short-haired woman was in tears and tried hard to explain. Haha, you still dare to quibble? Woman, I have seen through your dirty tricks. Hua Kitchen curled the corners of his lips, his narrow eyes filled with sarcasm. No, I don't even know you. How could I play tricks on you? But I really don't know you. I'm busy selling pancakes every day to make money. Who would know you? How dare you quibble? Unless you are not a woman? Hearing this, the short-haired woman wanted to cry but had no tears. Did she really walk into the wrong room? But Hua Kitchen didn't believe it at all. He sat on the sofa, crossed his legs, and puffed smoke from a cigar between his fingertips. After a long while, he said with a smile, Humph, if you dare to act like that again, I don't mind letting you review how you played tricks on me last night. I want to go home. Seeing that she couldn't explain herself clearly, the short-haired woman simply picked up the coat on the bed, put it on, and wanted to leave. Seeing this, Hua Kitchen narrowed his long dark eyes, extinguished the cigar in his hand in the ashtray, and snorted coldly. Damn woman, did I allow you to leave? Did I ever tell you you could leave? You did this to me, and you want to leave without even an apology? The man stood up and walked towards the panicked short-haired woman with his long legs. What do you want to do? The woman struggled desperately, but Hua Kitchen grabbed her wrists and pressed her against the wall. Humph, woman, stop pretending to be a chaste heroine. Your body was much more honest than your mouth last night. After saying that, Hua Chi-chun lowered his head and was about to kiss the woman forcefully. But the short-haired woman turned away immediately, still cursing. You bastard! You're despicable! You're vile and shameless. Hearing the woman scolding, Hua Kitchen was not angry at all. On the contrary, a playful arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. Um? How dare this woman scold me? No woman has ever dared to scold me. What kitchen? Like this? It's really interesting. Very good. Woman, you have successfully caught my attention. Tell me, how much money do you want to be my plaything? What kitchen was leaning against the wall against the short-haired woman with a smile on his face. But those slender eyes were filled with unquestionable coldness, as if a high and mighty king was choosing his own princess. Now, the domineering aura of the overbearing president is clearly revealed. I don't want your money, you beast who doesn't know how to respect others. The short-haired woman was very angry when she saw Hua Kitchen using money to insult her. She turned her head and bit the man's wrist fiercely. When he let go in pain, she quickly fled the room and disappeared from Hua Kitchen's sight in the blink of an eye. Looking at the bite mark on his wrist, Hua Kitchen, who had always had a blank expression, suddenly smiled. There was a trace of indifference on the corner of his mouth, and he murmured to himself, "Huh, I haven't met such an interesting woman in a long time. She's not interested in my money? She's quite a unique woman. But you don't think you can escape from my control like this? How naive." Then, Hua Kitchen took out the mobile phone from his pocket and sent a message to his subordinates, along with the photo of the short-haired woman that he had secretly taken. Within 3 minutes, I want all the information about this woman. Chapter 123, The Malice of the Overbearing President. I want Lin Tao to die in despair. Time flies like an arrow. Time is like the mating of a man and a woman. It's over in a minute. The next day, early morning. Ding-ling-ling. At the call of the alarm clock, Lin Tao got up on time. He first flirted with the earth for a while. Then after washing up, he left the Su family manor. He did not forget to go to the hospital today to steal his eldest brother-in-law's girl. But before that, I have to fill my stomach first. Gubuli steamed bun shop. Lin Tao sat at the stall, ordered soy milk and fried dough sticks as usual, and began to enjoy the food leisurely. Around him were still those middle-aged uncles gossiping about their daily lives. The only difference was that this time, they were all filled with hatred, with a look of shared hatred for the enemy, and each of them had a big iron stick at their feet. The product developed by the Lin family is really flawed. I used to praise the Lin family so much, but my love for them has gone to waste. I'm here today to vent my anger on behalf of my wife. She has already suffered disfigurement on her face. She has been crying these past few days. I'm so heartbroken. No need to say anything. I heard that the old man who caused harm to others and his family are in the Magic City Hospital. Let's kill them and get rid of the harm for the sake of reputation. The worst part is that idiot Lin Jianjun. He not only sold fake products at such a high price during the live broadcast, but also mocked us for not working hard. Lin Tao was strolling leisurely outside the hospital when he suddenly heard a commotion. He looked back and saw a group of middle-aged men dressed in street clothes rushing into the hospital aggressively, shouting slogans such as, "Kill Lin the dog." Lin Tao was stunned by this sudden scene and secretly wondered what these people were going to do, so he decided to follow them to find out. However, at this moment, a system prompt sounded in my mind. Ding! Female supporting character Mu Xiaowan enters the magnetic field range of tie-dye and gains 1./200 seconds. Lin Tao was slightly startled and quickly looked up and looked around. His eyes soon locked on a short-haired woman who was busy in front of the Jianbingguozi stall. She had fair skin and a pretty face. Although she was dressed simply, it still couldn't hide her beauty. This woman is none other than Mu Xiaowan, Susan's first love during college. They had secretly agreed to spend their lives together and get married after Susan returned from abroad. However, fate played tricks on them, and Su Fan never came back. When they met again, Mu Xiaowan was already pregnant with someone else's child, and that man turned out to be Susan's former #1 suitor, Hua Kitchen. Hua Kitchen, a typical representative of a domineering CEO, is extremely jealous and thinks he can control everything. Once he can't get it, he will destroy it. All this made Lin Tao sneer in his heart, thinking that the other party completely overestimated the relationship between him and the Lin family, thinking that this would make him suffer, which was really ridiculous. Lin Tao then walked to Mu Xiaowan's stall and said with a smile, "Boss, give me 2 pancakes." When Mu Xiaowan saw him, she blushed and quickly lowered her head to get busy. She added some more chicken fillet to Lin Tao and said gently, "I've made it for you." Lin Tao politely took the pancake and took a look at Mu Xiaowan's belly. He found no sign of bulge. It seemed that Hua Kitchen had not succeeded yet. Thinking of this, he secretly teased her in his heart, but did not interfere. After all, he was not very interested in the female supporting roles in the book. Except for the real and fake daughter female supporting role who was suffering from brain cancer and was about to die, he was too lazy to pay attention to others. As Lin Tao was leaving, Mu Xiaowan looked at his back, feeling a little reluctant. She thought to herself, how nice it would have been if the room she went to last night was Lin Tao's. However, in a green Rolls-Royce Phantom in the distance, Hua Kitchen was watching all this coldly. His eyes were full of viciousness and jealousy, and he had long wanted to kill Lin Tao. This man actually dared to approach the woman he had his eyes on. This was simply unforgivable. Hua Kitchen took out a black card from his wallet, handed it to the bodyguard beside him, and ordered coldly, "There is 100 million in this card. Go buy all the pancakes that woman has. Tell her that from now on, her pancakes can only be made for me, and only I can eat them." Hua Kitchen's orders revealed an unshakable authority and possessiveness. His eyes were as sharp as a knife, as if he wanted to kill all those who stood in his way. In his world, any betrayal and provocation against him was unforgivable. Chapter 124. Poaching the protagonist and accepting the business genius, Manhwa. Just as the overbearing president was venting his domineering spirit, the other side, Lin Tao came to the door of the dean's office. He showed up at the Magic City Hospital this time in order to recruit Manhwa to work for him. But the hospital is so big, who knows which ward Manhwa is in? Lin Tao wasn't even sure whether he was currently in this hospital. Therefore, it is most time-saving to entrust the highest-ranking official in the hospital to investigate. Open the door. I saw an old man in a white coat and with wrinkles all over his face, working at his desk. "Dean Feng, find someone for me." Manhwa? Lin Tao went straight to the point and directly stated the purpose of his visit. "You are Mr. Lin. Are you looking for Manhwa? Got it. I'll have someone check it out right away." After recognizing Lin Tao's identity, the old man didn't ask any further questions. He took out his cell phone with a smile and started calling the people below. As the director of the First People's Hospital of Shanghai, the old man had met Lin Tao several times before, so he naturally knew the other party's background and the news that he was about to become the son-in-law of the Su family's granddaughter. Apart from anything else, even if we consider the fact that the Su family sponsors a batch of medical equipment to the hospital every year, it's just a request to find someone, and Dean Feng will definitely give face. Soon, news came from the inpatient department. There was a patient named Chen Mei, and her accompanying family member was named Manhwa. Then, Lin Tao followed a young nurse and headed towards the inpatient department. On the way, the nurse roughly revealed Chen Mei's condition, uremia. After listening to the little nurse's narration, Lin Tao's lips curled up in a confident smile. Everything was just as he expected. My brother-in-law has secured this corner of my house. Soon, the two came to the door of an ordinary ward. After Lin Tao said goodbye to the nurse, he pushed the door open and walked in. In the ward, there was an ordinary-looking woman wearing a medical oxygen mask, lying on a hospital bed and sleeping soundly. Next to her sat a middle-aged man with a decadent face. At this time, his brows were furrowed and he kept sighing silently, as if he was worried about something. Manhwa. Hearing someone calling his name, the slightly haggard man turned around in surprise and happened to meet Lin Tao's eyes. Ugly. Strange appearance. The moment he saw Manhwa, these words appeared in Lin Tao's mind. The face was long and narrow, like an elongated horse's face, with clear contours, even a bit like an ancient stone tablet eroded by time. His eyes were small and deep, like two pebbles hidden in the grass. The nose was large and flat, reminiscent of an ugly mound of dirt that suddenly appeared after the rain. The lips were very thin and slightly purple in color, like the bare lips of a tired old horse in winter. His short and bent figure made him look like an old pine tree that might break at any time in a storm. Judging from the facial features alone, it is simply unsightly and looks shocking. This is why he has so much talent, but nowhere to display it. In this appearance-oriented society, looks are still quite important. Most people simply won't look past your ugly appearance and give you the opportunity to display your outstanding talents. "Excuse me, who are you?" Seeing the young man with extraordinary temperament approaching, Manhwa felt a little uneasy. He quickly stood up and subconsciously wanted to escape. He thought Lin Tao was here to collect a debt. After all, in order to save his wife's life, he borrowed money from almost every channel he could. Now there are different debt collectors coming to my door every day to ask for money. But his pockets are cleaner than his face. He has no money to pay off his debts, so he can only live in fear and hide from place to place every day. Do you want to understand the meaning of life? Do you want to truly live? What makes Maingja at a loss is the young man in front of me spoke without any context and suddenly said something very incomprehensible to me. Maingja's head was full of black question marks at the beginning, but when he met the clear eyes of the young man in front of him, for some reason, Maingja suddenly felt a surge of blood in his heart. He nodded unconsciously. Looking back on my life over the past 40 years, I have achieved nothing, lived worse than a dog, and couldn't even protect the woman I loved the most. Doesn't he want to truly live like a normal person? But no matter how hard he tried, how humbly he begged, many people would reject him because of his ugly appearance and would not even give him an internship opportunity. Seeing Ma Yingxia nod, Lin Tao smiled and extended his hand to him. Very well, come and do something for me. In return, I will give you everything you want. You can ask for any salary you want. I will help you pay off your debts, and I will also have the hospital provide your wife with the best medical conditions. Regarding the generous conditions offered by Lin Tao, Maingja just felt confused. He didn't know where the young man in front of him came from. Why do I suddenly have to work with him? Looking at the other person's behavior, it seems that he knows everything about your situation. Maingja tried desperately to search for memories in his mind, but I still don't remember having any interactions with Lin Tao. But when he heard that Lin Tao had the ability to provide his wife with the best medical conditions, Maingja held Lin Tao's hand without even thinking about it. Please save my wife. I don't care about money or anything. As long as you can cure my wife, I'm willing to do anything. You can ask me to do anything. I'll even be your dog. Looking at the man's sincere yet solemn face, Lin Tao grinned. Very good. Remember what you said today. Immediately, under Maingja's puzzled gaze, he took out his mobile phone and started to make a call. 1 minute later, outside the door, there were more than a dozen hurried footsteps. Under Maingja's extremely shocked gaze, the director of the hospital came in person, followed by several famous doctors from the hospital. In the past, if you wanted to see one of them, you had to make an appointment long in advance. But now, all these people gathered together because of a phone call from the young man in front of them. Who is this person? Lin Tao, who was surrounded by doctors, Maingja's eyes flashed with a strange look. There are always good horses, but there are not always good horses. In the past, Ma Yingxia often ridiculed himself as a talented horse that no one appreciated. But today he had an inexplicable intuition. Maybe it's my destiny. From this moment on, a radical change will take place. Because his mentor appeared. The other side. After understanding the details, President Feng began to report. Mr. Lin, according to your request, we have successfully found a suitable kidney source through matching in the private kidney source database. When can I have the surgery? Lin Tao was brief and to the point. He didn't care where the kidney came from. He just wanted to cure Chen Mei as soon as possible in order to gain Maingja's loyalty. At the earliest, the kidney transplant surgery can be performed tomorrow morning. I will personally perform the surgery to ensure that everything goes well. Dean Feng thought for a moment and gave Lin Tao a satisfactory answer. Very good. Thank you for your help, Dean Feng. As for the expenses required for treatment, I will bear all of them. You just need to give Chen Mei the best medicine and the best care. Is that okay? Seeing Dean Feng and others nodding repeatedly, he confidently indicated that there was no problem. Lin Tao finally felt relieved. He was really afraid that there would be a classic plot within a classic plot where only the protagonist can cure it. It seems that in the later period, only Su Fan could cure this disease. It was all because Chen Mei's illness had been delayed for too long, which led to some chain reactions. Now that he has had a kidney transplant in advance and has top-notch medical conditions, he can be cured even without the help of the protagonist. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lin. No, boss. From now on, my life belongs to you. I will do whatever you tell me to do. Seeing Lin Tao, he easily solved the dilemma that had troubled him for a long time with just a few words. Maingja was shocked, yet filled with deep gratitude. He knows it very well. Not to mention that he can't afford the high medical bills, even if he could afford it. But if Lin Tao hadn't helped, they wouldn't have gotten a kidney even if one became available. After all, there are too many patients who need kidneys, and the hospital will only arrange them for those who are powerful first. Kidney transplant. In fact, what is exchanged is the human relations and worldly wisdom. Ma Yingxia was so excited that he immediately knelt down and kowtowed. But he was caught by Lin Tao, who was quick-eyed and quick-handed. Stop, stop, stop. I don't like this. If you really want to repay me, wait until your wife's kidney transplant is successful, and then make money for me. Okay, Dean Feng, please ask someone to arrange for Chun made to be transferred to the VLP ward first. Upon hearing this, Dean Feng immediately began to make arrangements. He just found out that not long ago, the chairman of Lin Group retired from the VLP ward. So he ordered the medical staff to prepare to transfer Qian Mei to that ward first. Stay with your wife. I'll come again tomorrow. When your wife is almost fully recovered, I will arrange a job for you. Let's go. As Manhwa bowed profusely in gratitude, Lin Tao waved goodbye and left. It's still early. Lin Tao took a stroll around the hospital and discovered that the largest number of patients in the entire hospital were those who had been disfigured by the beauty ointment. He also saw middle-aged men walking around holding large iron bars. He was looking around the hospital with sharp eyes, as if he was looking for something. Brother, why are you here? Are you here to visit Daddy? At this time, a familiar sissy voice reached Lin Tao's ears, causing the corners of his mouth to twitch, and he felt that he had met his enemy on a narrow road. Could it be that I will meet this weird family again? Turn around and take a look. There were 2 men and 1 woman standing in front of me, all wrapped up tightly and wearing big sunglasses, as if they were afraid of being discovered. When Lin Tao discovered them, the strange trio also saw Lin Tao. Lin Jianjun originally received news that Kunshan Longgu had gathered 10,086 dog-killing generals to cut him into pieces. Only then, in a panic, did he think of taking Lin Hao and his mother out of the hospital and running away as soon as possible. You know, because they couldn't afford to pay their wages, those ungrateful bodyguards all chose to resign and leave. Is there no one around to protect him now? But before they could run out of the hospital, they ran into Lin Tao. And Xiao Tao, you are here to look for your daddy, right? I knew you still couldn't let go of Dad. After all, the blood relationship between us can't be severed in any way. Dad knows he was wrong. Let's get back together and be a loving father and son. This time, Lin Jianjun learned his lesson and spoke in a gentle tone, no longer swearing at people as he did before when they met. He tried his best to play the role of a father well, staring at Lin Tao with eyes full of sincerity. Brush. Facing Lin Jianjun's eyes, Lin Tao felt goosebumps all over his body and was almost sickened to death. He quickly waved his hand. Shut up now. I'm here to find someone to help me manage the Lin family in the future. Looking for someone to manage the Lin family? This hospital is all about patients and doctors. How can anyone be capable of managing such a huge group? Lin Jianjun and his companions expressed their disbelief in their hearts. I just feel that Lin Tao is too thin-skinned to reveal his true purpose, and he says one thing and means another. It was obvious that he had heard the news and was worried that his father was in danger, so he ran over early in the morning to protect him. But he came up with such a lame excuse. It's really hard for him, isn't it? Lin Jianjun's face was filled with emotion, and tears were gathering in his eyes. He originally thought that this rebellious son was too stubborn and hopeless. But I didn't expect that in his heart, he was always concerned about his father. This is not. As soon as he heard that he was in danger, he rushed to the hospital without stopping. Suddenly, he felt a little regretful for kicking Lin Tao out of the house. Even though the other party is very unfilial, my blood is still flowing in his body. Xiao Tao, you just said you'd find someone to help you manage the Lin family? Have you thought it through and are ready to buy your father's shares? How much are you going to spend? 3 billion? Among the 3, Bai Yuelan was the first to come to her senses, and her eyes suddenly lit up. If Lin Tao really spent a huge sum of money to buy the shares, then she just needs to find an opportunity to take the money away, and at least she and her son will have enough food and clothing for the rest of their lives. Facing Bai Yuelan's self-assertive words, Lin Jianjun frowned, feeling somewhat dissatisfied. For the first time, he felt a little disgust towards this little wife. Snored. All this woman cares about is money, money, money. Such a good father-son atmosphere was completely destroyed by her. If Xiao Tao thought I was trying to take his money, wouldn't that destroy the image of me as a great father in his heart? Besides, how could those shares be worth so much money now? Isn't this asking me to betray my own son? After learning that Lin Tao showed up here early in the morning just to protect him, Lin Tao resurfaced. He decided to let bygones be bygones and give the unfilial son another chance to return to his roots. As the saying goes, no one is perfect. There is no greater virtue than correcting one's mistakes as soon as one realizes them. Even though Lin Tao had once been extremely rebellious and contradicted him. But now that he has turned over a new leaf and sincerely repented, I am not a heartless person. Perhaps it is not impossible to show mercy and give Lin Tao a chance to kowtow and apologize, and become his son again. I guess after knowing how generous I am, Lin Tao will surely cry with joy and be moved to tears. Now, Lin Tao with a gentle gaze full of fatherly love. He was mentally prepared to accept this son again. Chapter 125. 100 million was yesterday's price. Today's price is 20 million. Lin Jianjun's incompetent rage. Don't take your mother's words to heart. Lin Jianjun changed his tone and said with a little concern, now the company's stock price has plummeted, and it's not even worth 3 billion. If I sell it to you against my conscience, wouldn't I be cheating you? This sounded sanctimonious, but it threw all the responsibility onto Bai Yuelon, making him seem so noble. Bai Yuelon heard the implicit sarcasm in the words, and her face instantly darkened. She understood that Lin Jianjun was planning to climb back up the big tree of his eldest son, and she and her son seemed dispensable in his eyes. At this moment, Bai Yuelon had already begun to think about taking her son and running away. On the other side, Lin Tao almost laughed out loud when listening to Lin Jianjun's self-talk. He couldn't believe that there was such a shameless person in the world who was so narcissistic that he thought others would rush to recognize him as their father. However, Lin Jianjun was not angry at Lin Tao's ridicule. Instead, he thought his son was just too embarrassed to make peace. He pretended to cough twice, squeezed out a fatherly love smile, stretched out his hand and said, Lin Tao, come back to your father. I'm still your father. Lin Tao was stunned. Is this guy mentally okay? Just as he was thinking about how to retort, Lin Hao suddenly came up to him with an excited smile on his face. Brother, Dad finally forgives you. From now on, we are a family. Slap. Lin Tao slapped Lin Hao's cheek, causing it to burn and forcing him to step back. Lin Hao covered his face and said tearfully, Brother, why did you hit me? Is it because I took away Dad's love? It doesn't matter. Hit me as long as you are happy. Lin Tao was almost amused by this pretentious look. Seeing Lin Hao's sacrificial attitude, he prepared to give him a few more serial slaps without saying a word. At this moment, Lin Jianjun finally reacted and hurried forward to stop them. Stop! Xiao Tao, this is your brother. How can you kill each other? Lin Tao sneered and said, Brother? I don't have such a brother. Don't you find that he doesn't look like you at all? Are you sure he is your biological son? Lin Jianjun's face darkened and he angrily shouted, What nonsense are you talking about? Can you make such a joke casually? However, Lin Tao's joke made Bai Yuelon's face suddenly change. Her breathing became rapid, and her heart was in a panic. In order to change the subject, she lay on the ground and cried, saying that she wanted to jump off the building to make her determination clear. Lin Jianjun looked at his wife's tearful face and felt so distressed that he turned around and glared at Lin Tao. Why are you still standing there? Can't you see how mad your mother is? Why don't you kneel down and apologize? Lin Tao looked at him coldly, his eyes full of pity. You are so pathetic. Lin Jianjun was so angry that his face turned blue. He felt that Lin Tao was unreasonable. He took a deep breath and decided to give this unfilial son one last chance. Lin Tao, I'll give you one chance. As long as you kowtow to your mother and apologize, I will recognize you as my son again and give you all the shares under my name. From now on, you will be the owner of the Lin Group. Lin Tao curled his lips in disdain. What are you dreaming about? I won't jump into this fire pit again. Besides, 2 billion? You're dreaming. The most I'll offer is 20 million. Lin Jianjun was stunned, and it took him a while to realize that he had been being sentimental from the beginning to the end. In anger, he untied his belt and prepared to teach this rebellious son a lesson. But Lin Tao suddenly shouted loudly, The dog-killing team assemble! Lin Jianjun is here. Instantly, a group of aggressive, strong men swarmed over, pinned Lin Jianjun to the ground, and gave him a severe beating. Lin Jianjun cried out in pain, Yuelon, Howard, save me! However, when he looked up and around, he only saw the backs of his wife and children walking away. At this moment, Lin Jianjun finally felt what it was like to be truly heartbroken. Just as he was in a state of disgrace and suffering from the pain of being beaten, he suddenly thought of that woman who was cold on the outside but warm on the inside, the ex-wife he had once discarded like a piece of trash. Chapter 126. Red Wolf cheats on, licking the god Fiangyang. Gray Wolf angrily kills the god. While Lin Jianjun was struggling in pain, Lin Tao had already quietly left the hospital and came to a familiar old flower shop. When he opened the door, he did not hear the childish voice that he usually heard, but saw a slim woman wearing a mask taking care of the flowers and plants. Madam, it's the same old rule, a bunch of violets. Lin Tao greeted her with a smile, and asked curiously, "Where's Xiao Xiao? Why didn't I see her today? Is she still asleep?" She got up early today and went to kindergarten early. The woman picked up a bunch of violets that she had prepared long ago and handed it to Lin Tao. "Thank you, madam." Lin Tao took the bouquet and smiled politely. "By the way, I've bought flowers so many times, but I still don't know your name. My last name is Lin. My given name is Tao. Nice to meet you." "Gao Weiwei." The woman thought for a moment and gave her name. Lin Tao smiled and said, "It seems that the boss lady is a few years older than me, so can I call you Sister Weiwei from now on?" Gao Weiwei was slightly stunned. Although she always kept her distance from strangers, she nodded and acquiesced to the title of Lin Tao, a frequent, affectionate customer. After all, she had also heard about Lin Tao's deeds of buying flowers for his comatose fiancée and felt that such a devoted man could not be a bad person. "Sister Weiwei, I'm leaving first." Lin Tao waved goodbye, and Gao Weiwei looked at his departing figure and couldn't help but feel a little envious. Although Susan unfortunately became a vegetable, it was a blessing in disguise that she had such a loving man. 10 minutes later, Lin Tao returned to the Su family manor, walked into the familiar girl's boudoir, and held the soft little hand. "Susan, good morning." "Lin Tao, good morning." Susan responded in her heart. Lin Tao's voice made her feel much brighter. She gestured with her fingers on Lin Tao's palm and said, "I want to hear a story." Lin Tao smiled slightly and then began to tell the story of yesterday. A long, long time ago, there was a place called Bear Ridge. Lin Tao's story is as bizarre and funny as ever, telling the absurd plot of Fiangyang and Red Wolf. But when the story reached its climax, he suddenly stopped and left a sentence. To know what happens next, please listen to the next episode. Susan almost jumped up in anger. She loved and hated this habit of cutting off the text. She pinched Lin Tao and said, "Keep talking. I want to hear it." Lin Tao smiled and said, "Sorry, Susan, I haven't thought about the rest of the story yet." He deliberately kept the suspense and only briefly revealed the clues to the next story, making Susan even more anxious. At the same time, a fierce dispute was taking place in front of a pancake stall near the Magic City People's Hospital. Hua Kitchen looked at the woman in front of him coldly and said in a cold tone, "Woman, you are playing with fire. Don't challenge my patience, be my plaything, and name your price." Mu Xiaowan raised her eyebrows and raised her middle finger unceremoniously. "I'm telling you, I make much more than you think in a month, and I don't need your money. Get out of here now. I won't go to bed with you." Hua Kitchen was stunned by Mu Xiaowan's reaction. No one had ever dared to talk to him like that. The people around him were also frightened by this scene, but Mu Xiaowan didn't care. She had long since recognized the reality that men were just tools to satisfy her physiological needs. She only looked at the eye contact when choosing a partner. No matter how rich the other person was, if she didn't like him, she would just ignore him. "Goodbye, lunatic." Mu Xiaowan waved her hand, ignored Hua Kitchen, and continued to busy herself. Chapter 127 Beauty pills are on the market. The beginning of the road to dominance in the Magic City. "You're a lowly man. You're affecting my ability to make money. What bad luck." Seeing that the man refused to leave, Mu Xiaowan no longer had the mood to continue setting up the stall. She raised her middle finger to Hua Kitchen, ignoring his increasingly gloomy expression. Then she packed up her stall without even looking at the man. Seeing this, Hua Kitchen became extremely angry. He clenched his fists, and the veins on his arms bulged, as if he was about to rush up and punch Mu Xiaowan in the next second. But he held it in and revealed his identity directly. "My name is Hua Kitchen, the heir of the Hua family. I thought that after knowing my noble identity, the woman in front of him will definitely submit to him and become his plaything like other women." But who knew that Mu Xiaowan was just surprised? Then both hands raised their middle fingers at the same time. "It's none of my business. I don't care who you are, just leave me alone. How dare this woman scold me? After learning about my Supreme King status, she still looked down on me? She has such a unique personality, so special." Hua Kitchen was really shocked. In the past, whenever he revealed his identity as Master Hua, which woman would not throw herself at him desperately? Except Susan. He has never been defeated by any woman. It was because of Susan's disdain for him. This made him obsessed with it, and he wanted to conquer the other person more and more, even to the point where he was regarded as a dog by outsiders. "I thought there would never be another woman in this world who could reject his charm, but I never expected." Mu Xiaowan appeared. "Woman, you are destined to be mine. I'm telling you, you're mine for the rest of your life, and you can never escape. No matter where you run to, Don't even think about escaping from my grasp in this life. Now, Hua Kitchen seemed to be declaring his sovereignty, and all kinds of domineering boss quotes came out of his mouth. To the woman who dared to reject him, Hua Kitchen has been successfully interested. Especially, he vaguely saw Susan's figure in the other person. Snored. He had been rejected once by that ungrateful woman, and he would never allow himself to be rejected by a second woman again. He is Hua Kitchen, a natural-born king, a man destined to lead his family to the top of the world. All women are only worthy of being his appendages, offering their bodies for his pleasure. Women who are favored by me, Hua Kitchen, should feel extremely honored, because this is the glory of their life and the highest honor of their family. The entire clan will celebrate it. You are crazy. Stop watching those TV dramas featuring brain-dead bosses. They'll ruin your brain. Noticing Hua Kitchen's scorching gaze, Mu Xiaowan felt goosebumps all over and felt uncomfortable all over. Then 2 more middle fingers were offered. Bold. The corners of Hua Kitchen's mouth twitched violently, and he stared at Mu Xiaowan with a sinister look. He pursed his lips, which were as cold as a blade, and raised a ruthless arc at the corner of his mouth. Very good. You are such a fool. You have succeeded in angering me. I'm warning you. Don't challenge my patience. Woman, do you know you are playing with fire? Mu Xiaowan. Faced with a mentally ill man, Mu Xiaowan chose to give up communicating. She made an international greeting and left with her pancake stand. The man was left standing there with a gloomy face, anger flashing in his pupils, as if he wanted to tear apart the back of the woman who ignored him. But in the end, he did not try to stop her, and just watched Mu Xiaowan's back disappear silently. Woman, you can't escape. One day, you will definitely be willing to be my plaything. Hua Kitchen sneered continuously, his eyes containing 3 parts of ridicule, 3 parts of indifference, and 4 parts of arrogance. Soon he returned to his Rolls-Royce Phantom. As soon as you get on the bus, Hua Kitchen asked the driver in the front seat in a sinister tone, "What's going on? The woman's situation is different from the information you gave me?" Recalling what Mu Xiaowan said about her having slept with more than a dozen men, Hua Kitchen felt so angry that his teeth were itching. He remembered that from the information he had found, Mu Xiaowan wasn't that unruly, right? But for some reason, after learning about Mu Xiaowan's past promiscuous experience, although he was angry, he also felt a stronger possessive desire. Hateful. Did this woman poison me with the drug called love? Master Hua. Maybe the time is too tight and the intelligence department personnel missed some information. In the driving seat, the driver, with cold sweat on his forehead, hurriedly explained. Actually, it's not their fault. After all, Hua Kitchen always says, I want all the information about so-and-so within 3 minutes. Isn't this bullshit? Even the most elite intelligence agencies cannot find out the truth about a person in such a short time. Hearing this, Hua Kitchen snorted coldly. However, he did not accuse her of anything too much, but just ordered the intelligence department to reinvestigate Mu Xiaowan's life. Especially those men who touched Mu Xiaowan. Find them all without leaving a single one behind. Haha. If they dare to touch the woman that Hua Kitchen likes, I will bury their entire family with her. Yes, Mr. Hua. The driver nodded repeatedly, and then asked whether Hua Kitchen was returning to the Hua family now. No. Let's go to Sue's house. I want to meet that ungrateful woman. And the man who dared to ruin my plans again and again? Hua Kitchen narrowed his eyes slightly, with a cold light flashing in his pupils. Under his Sleeping Beauty plan, Susan should have been his. Therefore, Hua Kitchen has never been worried. He is just waiting to slowly destroy the Su family and then take Susan for himself, making her his own Sleeping Beauty forever. But I never expected. A Cheng Yao Jin shows up unexpectedly? Lin Tao. Hua Kitchen didn't take the other party seriously at first. He is nothing but a useless abandoned boy who is not loved by his father and mother. He himself suffers from mania, so what threat can he pose? The so-called marrying into the Su family is just nice talk. In fact, Su Shengtian was just trying to save the situation and using him as a tool to bring good luck. But what happened afterwards was a little beyond his expectations. Lin Tao not only resolved his private little tricks and saved the Su family from the brink of bankruptcy, but also seemed to have some means of awakening the vegetative patient. He recalled the information that Wang Defa had reported to him not long ago. A hint of viciousness flashed across Hua Kitchen's dark eyes, and he murmured to himself, I hope you don't know what's good for you, and dare to snatch a woman from me, Hua Kitchen. Then I will let you know what it means to be unable to live or to die. Soon. With a roar, the sports car drove towards the Su family. Hello. Every festival makes us miss our loved ones more. The Mid-Autumn Festival is coming. I am here to wish you all a happy Mid-Autumn Festival in advance. In the Su family manor, in the girl's boudoir. Do you know the character I'm cosplaying today? Is it cute? Lin Tao was speechless and rolled his eyes at the little loli who was spinning in front of him. He had just finished a massage and was still enjoying the wonderful time with his wife. Chen Kurson's familiar loud voice appeared. Rim? That's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A blue wig covers the right eye. Black and white maid dress. White stockings with black leather shoes. Lin Tao had to admit, with Chen Kurson's lowly figure, she is really suitable for cosplaying Rim from the anime. There is absolutely no sense of disobedience, as if Rim herself really walked out of the anime. Are you impressed by my cuteness?
Roar, roar, roar.
Just now when I was walking on the street, many passers-by said I was cute and came up to take pictures with me. Some even said that if they looked at me again, they would be blown away by my cuteness. I really want to show this to Sister Susan. She will definitely be so fascinated by my cuteness that she will hug me and won't let go. Looking at the little loli with one hand on her waist and the other covering her mouth, she looked very proud. Lin Tao said angrily, "Get lost." Others may allow, but the only thing I will never give up is sticking to anyone. After playing around with the little Lolita, Lin Tao curiously asked about the whereabouts of his brother-in-law. He looked around for a long time but didn't see Su Fan appear at the door. Where's brother Su Fan? Why don't I see him? Didn't he come out with you today? Oh, that follower. I asked him to stay downstairs and forbade him to go upstairs, to avoid affecting Sister Susan's mood like yesterday. Lin Tao. Poor brother-in-law. He must be very depressed now. I returned to my own home but was despised, and now I am even deprived of the right to go upstairs. Whoa. The more I think about it, the more I feel sorry for my brother-in-law. 2.5 seconds of silence for you. Rest assured, I will take care of your sister, so don't worry. However, as a brother-in-law, Lin Tao still followed his conscience and asked Susan for her opinion. Susan, do you hate Sufan? Do you mind him going upstairs? On the hospital bed, Susan was in a good mood when she heard that Su Fan was confined downstairs. To be honest, she didn't have a good impression of Su Fan and didn't want him to appear in front of her door and affect Lin Tao's treatment process. I am doing this just to wake up as soon as possible, and I have no other thoughts. So, Susan expressed her own opinion. I mind it very much. Looking at the words written on his palm, Lin Tao once again felt sorry for his brother-in-law. 2.5 minutes of silence for him. Accio. Downstairs of the villa. Su Fan was originally sitting alone on the sofa, sighing. Suddenly I felt a chill and couldn't help sneezing. Could it be that an enemy is thinking about me? Although he was a little confused, Su Fan didn't care. Even if there are enemies who are targeting him, they are just some petty villains who are vulnerable to attack. The other side. Oni-chan, are you going to sing a new song today? And can we release the song we sang yesterday? Well, okay. I have discussed it in detail with Mr. Su last night, and we will announce the launch of the new product today. Lin Tao touched his chin and made a decision. After a morning of observation, he was very sure that he had underestimated the power of internet communication. There are also a large number of people who have been harmed by the side effects of beauty ointments. Today's public opinion is already at its highest point, so there is no need to wait any longer. And Su Xingtian also came to talk to him last night. The plan they made was that the company would put the product on the shelves first, and Lin Tao would attract customers to buy it. Speaking of which, when Mr. Su first learned that I was the famous L, that little expression, thinking back to last night, when Su Xingtian looked so surprised, Lin Tao couldn't help but want to laugh. Then, he sent a text message to Su Xingtian first, and then asked Chen Kurson to add a paragraph of text at the end of the song according to his request. Is Lin Tao going to release a beautifying pill? I hope everything goes well. If it really goes as smoothly as imagined, then the Su family may really have a chance to return to the peak, or even surpass the peak. Back then, my parents' biggest dream was to lead the Su family to a higher level and become a first-tier family. That's why I worked so hard and traveled from time to time to expand the business. The Su family also reached its peak at that time, but unfortunately later, I really want to show my father and the others. The Su family will not fall, and the Su family can become even stronger. Father, mother, elder brother, if you are still alive, please bless us. In the dark prison of consciousness, Susan prayed silently. Because of the vegetative state, she had no involvement in the whole thing. But he was also a bystander who witnessed the entire process from the moment Lin Tao took out the prescription. At first, she didn't care too much about the success of the beauty pill. However, everything Lin Tao once boasted about is gradually becoming a reality. As a witness, she couldn't help but feel her blood boiling. As long as it succeeds, the Su family will surely rise rapidly and its market value will skyrocket. This is not only what Susan dreams of seeing, but also has great benefits for Lin Tao. After all, he is now a major shareholder of the Su Group. The stronger the Su family is, the more help they can provide him in the future. And if it fails, even if no one in the Su family blamed Lin Tao, he would certainly be deeply shocked and feel extremely guilty. This is what Susan doesn't want to see. Soon, under Lin Tao's instruction, Chung Kerson edited the recorded video on her notebook and clicked publish. This moment, a gear in Steins, gate turns, and the Lin Su couple's road to dominating the Magic City officially begins. Voting window. Which picture do you think is the best? Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. See if everyone has the same taste. Chapter 128 AL, Return to Domestic Entertainment, the popularity of beauty pills. Su Xingtian was very excited. Su Group, headquarters. In the chairman's office. Receiving the message from Lin Tao, Su Xingtian showed a hint of excitement and immediately asked his confidants. Xiaohu, our beauty products are already available on all major official websites. Yes, Chairman. Announcements were made late last night to officially announce the sale. At the desk, a man in a neat suit, black-framed glasses, and a middle-parted hair was reporting. At the same time, he frowned slightly and said with a little worry, "But Chairman, perhaps it was due to the side effects of the Lin family's beauty cream. Today's people hate these beauty products. It's been about 10 hours since our product was put on the shelves, and we haven't sold a single pill yet." The comments on the official website are almost all one-sided, full of abuse and distrust. Su Shengtian had anticipated this situation, so he just smiled and waved his hand, indicating that Hu Zheng didn't need to worry, everything was under control. Now everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. All we have to do is wait patiently for my grandson-in-law to blow the first east wind. A single spark can start a prairie fire. As long as the first batch of initial customers have tasted the sweetness with their spontaneous promotion, why worry about not being able to open up the market? Su Shengtian looked calm and at ease, sitting in his office chair. He had already discussed with Lin Tao the various emergencies that might arise during the sale of the beauty pill. Now we can ensure that nothing can go wrong. During the discussion, Su Shengtian became more and more satisfied with his grandson-in-law. He didn't expect that Lin Tao was so talented in business. From then on, he finally felt completely at ease. I think that even if I am gone one day, Lin Tao alone will be able to run the company well. The first east wind? The company neither advertises nor seeks endorsements from popular celebrities. How do you blow this up? Could it be that the new boss really has such magical powers? Hu Zheng scratched his head, full of confusion. But seeing that the old chairman was so confident, he must have arranged everything privately, so all I had to do was wait and see. But he was full of curiosity. I really want to know what my future new boss is up to. D Station. LS account. Under the last dynamic video, countless netizens came to pay their respects and commemorate the passing of EL, the musical genius. Wow, wow, wow. My poor idol. He could have been the last savior of the domestic entertainment industry, but he suffered such misfortune. Damn Lin Group. It's all the fault of those black-hearted entrepreneurs. I'm going to go to their official website again and curse all their ancestors. Kumebek. My eternal God, L. If you're gone, how are we, the most loyal fans, going to live? Humph. I'm a member of the dog-killing team. Today I was at the Magic City People's Hospital, and I finally caught up with that black-hearted entrepreneur and avenged L. The ones upstairs? Did you kill someone? Well done. And you, my friend, you are the real hero. Killing someone is too extreme. I didn't want to go to jail, so I just beat him up. In the end, I was rescued by the police. Tisk, that's it? That's it? And you are no longer my friend. Because you're not a true hero, you're actually a coward. Fuck. A bunch of keyboard warriors. Come on if you can do it. In the comments section, netizens continued to express their opinions and discuss. At this time, there was a latest comment that caused a sensation among the public. L is back. He released his latest video. Everyone go check it out. Hot man. He is back. At the reminder of an unknown netizen, everyone quickly refreshed the latest updates with great anticipation and anxiety. As expected, under L's account, it shows that the video was updated 1 minute ago. Seeing this, countless fans were so excited that they rushed to click the play button. Immediately following, the light string sound and the affectionate singing blooms. I once encountered a beam of light. In front, I ride on the wings of the wind to fly. Run towards you fearlessly without fear of the injuries I've suffered. Holding the clouds, the moon in my palms. Beautiful melody, gentle and familiar voice. As soon as Lin Tao started singing the first line, the screen was filled with all kinds of licking comments. I'm back, my L is back. L stands for Chinese music YYDS. The scene of deification. This song is so damn soulful. Kneeling to beg for gifts. Happy National Day. Since the song was released not long ago, there are not many people watching it online. But as time went on, the number of viewers increased dramatically every minute and every second, and within a few minutes, the number of online users reached over 500,000. Hundreds of thousands of viewers all held their breath and listened carefully to every word of the lyrics. I once encountered a beam of light. Your light. I see the faith in my palm. Blooming again because of your innocent smile. Thank you for being by my side. When the song was coming to an end, the screen was filled with comments from netizens such as, this is crazy. Isn't this better than, chicken you are so beautiful, I can't get enough of it. I really can't get enough of it. See you at the beginning, etc. Almost filling up the entire video screen. Everyone was deeply shocked by the deep affection contained in the song. I once met a beam of light. L is so amazing. It touched my heart and made me want to cry. Yes, the lyrics of this song are simple yet profound. When listening to it, people can feel the singer's inner emotions. It is very touching. I only heard the word deep affection. I have a hunch. This song must have been written by L for a certain white moonlight. That beam of light represents the girl he loves. No matter from the music or the lyrics, I encountered a beam of light is a song full of emotion and warmth, which makes people deeply moved when listening to it. L must be the god of music. Otherwise, how could every song of his be so touching? I will always support L. Such a genius died young because of the Lin family. Those people in the Lin family are really beasts. Woo-woo. Please, L, don't retire and leave us. L, how can I live without you? Right now, the entire internet is begging Lin Tao not to quit the internet and pleading with him to continue creating good music and save the Chinese music scene. And it seemed that he heard the calls of the crowd. After the singing ended, words appeared again on the video screen. After watching it, netizens were ecstatic. Hello fans, I am the singer AL. Thank you for your concern for me during this period of time. Here, I want to announce a piece of good news. I will continue to create good music to repay my fans' love for me. Some people may still be wondering why I announced that I would quit the internet because of my disfigurement. Why did I decide to make a comeback now? Ding ding ding. Of course it's because my face has recovered. When netizens first heard that L was planning to return to the music scene, they were both surprised and delighted. Upon learning that AL's disfigurement symptoms had recovered, fans became even more curious and asked about L's recovery methods. Especially those fans whose faces have been disfigured, they begged their idols to tell them the truth. Soon, new text appeared, explaining the reason. I used the Su family's latest developed beauty pill. At first I thought they and the Lin family were all scammers and black-hearted entrepreneurs. But I asked someone to buy it and used it, with the attitude of giving it a try. I didn't expect the effect to be so good. Not only did the disfigurement recover at a speed visible to the naked eye, but the skin also became smoother, whiter, and more tender. Now when I look at myself in the mirror every day, I can only think of 3 words, Thai cool hot. I know how many fans have been persecuted by Lin's group's products. If you believe me, please look for the Su family's latest product, the beauty pill. You won't suffer any loss or be fooled. This is my personal experience. The picture ends here. But before it ends, a link is released to guide everyone to purchase the Mayan Yandan. This move immediately caused a huge sensation. Some people suspect that AL took money from capital and advertised for unscrupulous companies. However, most fans firmly stand on AL's side and support him unconditionally. I believe in the character of idols. They are geniuses who can create so many hits. It is impossible for them to take advantage of their fans. It doesn't matter. If you don't want to buy it, forget it. I would rather be cheated than buy it because he is L, and I am willing to be cheated by him. No need to say anything. Buy it, buy it, buy it. Support L. I would believe him even if he said the world is round. Oh my god. I just clicked on the link and saw that the Su family only has 10,000 copies of the beauty pill for sale right now. It's first come, first served. If you're slow, they'll be gone. Go, go, go. Less than a minute, and only 8,000 copies are left. You guys have no moral principles. You're stealing them secretly, right? It's too fast. There are only 5,000 copies left. Don't fight with me. Su Group, headquarters. In the chairman's office, Su Shangtian sat in front of the computer, looking at the skyrocketing sales, and for a moment he couldn't stop smiling. He knew that his grandson-in-law had taken action. Dongfeng, it's already blowing. The next step is to rely on this little spark to gradually spread like wildfire. It exploded. The chairman exploded. Hu Zheng looked at the rising sales data curve, his face flushed with excitement. Ahem. Xiaohu, you need to be calm. This little scene is not worth mentioning at all. If you can't control your emotions, how can you do big things in the future? Even Su Shengtian was ecstatic. But in front of his subordinates, he still tried his best to show his steady momentum, which made Hu Zheng admire him very much. The chairman is worthy of being the chairman? I can't learn it. With this pattern, this aura, and this unshakable posture, he is born to do great things. No wonder I am an employee and the chairman is my boss. Think of this. Hu Zheng became more respectful. He looked at the sales data curve that had already reached its peak, suppressed his delight and flattery, and asked, "Congratulations, chairman. In just 5 minutes, all 10,000 copies of beauty pills have been sold out. This has broken the fastest sales record since the founding of our company. I believe this sales record. Even in the entire Magic City, no. There are few companies in the entire China that can match us. There are still a lot of beauty pills in the company's inventory. Do you think we should take advantage of the good situation and sell them all?" In response to Hu Zheng's question, Su Shengtian frowned and thought for a moment, somewhat undecided. So he took out his cell phone and started making calls. Wait a moment, I want to ask Xiao Tao for his opinion. By the way, I want to tell him the good news. Hearing this, Hu Zheng was stunned for a moment. Random opened his mouth in surprise. That Lin Tao meant so much to Su Shengtian. Thinking back to the reason why the sales of beauty pill exploded this time, it was all because of Lin Tao's handiwork. Hu Zheng was thinking about this new boss whom he had not met yet. That means I admire you from the bottom of my heart. He had some kind of inexplicable intuition. Working under him in the future might allow my career to reach an unprecedented peak. The other side. Su Family Manor, in Susan's boudoir. Lin Tao was holding the girl in his arms, being very intimate with her. Suddenly, the cell phone rang, interrupting this beautiful tranquility. Who is it? How dare you disturb me? Don't you know that a moment of affection is worth 1,000 gold? Lin Tao curled his lips and answered the phone with some dissatisfaction. Xiao Tao, it's taking off. The sales of beauty pill are booming. The other end of the microphone, Su Shengtian's excited voice came. In response, Lin Tao just said, "Oh," faintly. Forehead. Xiao Tao, how can you still be so calm? The whole internet is begging you for the elixir now. Noticing Lin Tao's calm reaction, Su Shengtian was a little confused. He thought that the other party would at least show excitement when he learned the news. But who would have thought that he would have such a bland attitude? There's nothing to be excited about. Grandpa Su, I had expected the hot sales of the pills. We have to be steady. And what's the big deal about this little scene? If we can't control our emotions, how can we do big things in the future? Su Shengtian. Why does this sound so familiar?